I'll just turn down the nitrous oxide. It's just the gas. Hello, everybody. Welcome in. Bayon Vainui and Bongia. It's Big Damn Cast. I'm Big Damn Christ.
I am Big Damn Buddha.
Oh. You are laughing.
Yes.
He's always laughing, his
I'm
Buddha.
a happy god.
Have you noticed? Only the big Buddha is laughing. Only the little skinny one always looks really upset.
It's because he's not had enough McDonald's.
True that.
It does make your day.
We're not endorsed, but if they would like to sponsor us, we'd probably have to morally think about it.
They don't use that slogan anymore, it's fine.
What, it makes your day like Buddha.
It used to
Come
be...
to McDonald's, we'll make your day like the Buddha.
No, because it used to be, McDonald's makes your day. And now it's...
I don't mean...
I'm loving it.
I don't mean to be an arsehole, but how old are you?
Really old.
Older than time!
Really old.
Older than space.
So old, Christopher.
But that's all right. You're not the oldest thing on the menu today, because we're going to ancient Egypt.
Are we?
Well, no.
No.
They wouldn't raise the funds. But aside from that, we are going to be talking
excited
about The Mummy, and we're also going to be basically spelling out our favourite movie monsters of all time. Because with The Mummy coming out, what better occasion do we have to chat shit about a random topic?
Literally any other day.
Any episode. But it's the algorithm, isn't it?
It's the old algorithm.
It's the old algorithm.
Ooh.
Old algorithm.
Well, by that rationale, we should really do another Wonder Woman episode.
Dum, dum, bum, 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 bum. Maybe next time.
I don't know any good Wonder Woman books because I don't think I've ever actually read a pure Wonder Woman story.
Someone asked me the other day, a friend of mine asked me, like, what do you recommend Wonder Woman book-wise? And I was like, I don't. And I think that's just because I've never read one that really struck me. I've heard that the John Byrne run, is it John Byrne? George Perez. George Perez run's apparently quite good, and they've gone on sale on the DC app
Well,
now.
that was her post-crisis, like, reboot we were talking about earlier with Man of Steel was that John Byrne
Byrne's
did.
one, yeah.
Yeah, so...
Was it Denny O'Neil and the other guy, who for Neil Adams for Batman? Was that post-crisis?
I think so, I'm not sure.
I think they were pre and post, weren't they?
Possibly.
Post-crisis was the 80s.
I know his post-crisis origin was year one.
Yeah. Oh, yes, the 80s. They might have been off the tail end of their version then, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Because they were like Ra's al Ghul and all that stuff.
Shirtless
sword fighting.
Crisis on Infinite Earths was 1984. So
My God, sir.
I think it was 1984. Yeah, it was 1984.
God. Well, while we're touching on DC, like a filthy pervert...
Oh, hello!
You've been playing Injustice now.
I have. I've got Injustice 2.
Gods a poppin'.
Oh, it's pretty good though, isn't it, Chris?
Title. It's pretty great.
It's pretty good.
It's so damn sweet. Tell me, Don Miguel. Tell me tales of El Diablo.
Deadshot's a bastard, isn't it?
He is. Deadshot's horrible.
I've started using a bit of Deadshot because if you can pull off his moves, you can and keep your distance.
If you can do what, sorry?
If you can pull off his moves and keep your distance,
I pray to the gods that is not what I think it is.
You'll spray bullets everywhere. So, you know.
Oh, God.
It'll be good.
I hated him at first because he replaced Deathstroke, who was one of my favourite players in the first one. I was like, oh, they've just swapped him out for Deadshot just because Deadshot was in Suicide Squad, the movie. That's the only reason they've done it, and la la la. But then I started playing as him a bit. I was like, he's pretty much the same, just minus the sword. Like you may as well be playing as Deathstroke.
Well, no, he's got guns. Lots of guns.
Lots o' guns. I can't master him though, but when people do, they hurt me so bad.
When you get used to using his meter burns, you can just fill the screen with bullets.
God,
because the down away X move, which you use a sniper rifle, and it's a low attack. You meter burn that, he doesn't fire off one shot, he fires off 5.
Oh God,
it's ridiculous. And like you basically, those are like you can do the trick shot. You do the trick shot with a meter burn. You can juggle people with it.
Oh my God,
it's ridiculous.
Oh,
after this podcast, we might have to have a little play with him.
Oh God, yeah, and then put the game in.
Hey,
Big Will, Drew Hill.
I've been maining Green Arrow, so I think I'm definitely leaning towards those characters who can sort of control the space a bit more and zoning they call it in fighting game terms. But the thing that occurs to me, the reason why I've got so into it is because I think it's much more accessible than any fighting game I've come across before. I mean, the first I think NetherRealms have been really pushing that since Mortal Kombat 9.
Yeah.
Is making the game more and more accessible and making it and helping it to... Because you go into something like Street Fighter, like I've got Ultra Street Fighter 4.
Yeah.
That thing is
that for the,
impenetrable.
What are you playing
on
that
PS4?
on? PS4. Okay.
It's absolutely impenetrable.
Yeah, I had Street Fighter 4 on release, which is, 2009?
Yeah.
I had Street Fighter 4 on release, I did the tutorial, I played a few rounds, and then went, I just can't do this. I can't do it. It's mental. Like, give me Street Fighter 2 on the SNES, I'm fine. Like, I can cope with that. I can pull off a decent amount of combos, but Street Fighter 4, I was like, this is impossible. It's the first game I ever traded in. I traded it in 2 weeks after I got it, so it was still like...
I had the
it
same
was still
thing.
like you trade... Back in the day, children, when you could trade in a very recent game and still get close to the original retail price. I bought it for £45 and I got $29.99 back.
That's not too bad.
Because it was, like, mint condition. It had been put in a PlayStation twice, and they looked at it and they're like, yes, it's fine.
This is fine.
This is fine, but I know what you mean. Like, I think also as well, it's because on the surface, obviously we've got a bit of advantage in the sense that we know all these characters, but on the surface, you can take one look at your character and go, oh, I instantly know their deal. Like, I know what I'm going to get with them. You might have a few surprises. You might look at Atrocitus for the first time and go, oh, he's a brute character, and then you go, oh shit, he's got some projectile and like magic style moves as well. Okay.
Yeah, you can put. I've had some trouble with Atrocitus.
And a floating cat.
Oh, Dexter's great.
It's such a weird addition. I mean, I like the fact that it's there, but it was so when he popped up in story mode, I was like, oh, for God's sake!
Oh yeah,
the kitty's out to play.
Yeah, he wears his ring on his tail, Chris.
He does. That is true. But he's no. Oh, what's his name? The squirrel. Oh God!
I can never remember the Squirrel Green Lantern's name.
Little shitballs. Little furry shit sticks.
It's not Klurt, is it?
No, it's
Klurt.
Oh God, what's his name? His name
I don't know.
Is I read a book with him in like not a week ago. Oh God! Hi everybody. I'm now thinking of the Robot Chicken DC Comics special where he makes a very brief appearance in the like. Look at these! Can you believe they're real?
Do you need me to look up who the Squirrel Green Lantern is?
No, I think
I'm gonna look him up.
I think I need to suffer.
I'm gonna look him up.
I think I need to suffer for my transgressions.
No, we've come this far down the rabbit hole now. I'm gonna look him up. What is the Squirrel Green? Okay, let's do this. Let's do this like one day. Okay, Google. Okay, Google. What is the Squirrel Green Lantern called?
Oh, let's see what happens.
Yeah. It's actually not picking up. No. Oh, right. You're just not. Hey.
According to Wikipedia, CHP is a member of the Green Lantern Corps.
CHP? It's Chip! It's Chip!
It's Chip.
Google gave up. CHP.
Such as a squirrel, a chipmunk.
Just a squirrel, a chipmunk. Doesn't say. That's how it says or. That's how Google says or.
Oh,
Squirrel
God.
or chipmunk.
God damn it.
He's called
Chip. Chipsticks.
Can we get a Chip skin for Green Lantern in Injustice 2? I do miss all the alternate costumes, but I quite like that you can make approximations of them from the gear.
I do think that down the line they'll sneak them in. I think that's going to happen because, for example, I've got some Superman stuff at the minute in terms of a couple of costume items and a colour thing that are basically his Godfall outfit.
Oh God!
So yeah.
Oh God!
It looks quite cool in Injustice, but it's you know it's there's ways. I mean, obviously, like Wonder Woman, she's like
they've got the movie.
Has that run out now?
I believe so.
Because I finished it.
I
finished it a few days ago.
I just wasn't high leveled enough for a lot of it.
Yeah. So. Oh God. Yeah. Like it recommended you be at level 20 to play the third part of it.
Yeah.
The fifth part of it. Sorry. And I was like, oh shit. And I spent ages training up like Diana now as a result is my strongest character.
Yeah.
She's like level 22. And then I went into it, and it's just a one fighter sequence. It's just you and Cheetah. But obviously Cheetah's level 20, so the reason why they're like recommending level 20 is because they're like, you need to be able to take on Cheetah. So once I did that, I was like, wait, I've been training 5 days? Like, it's one fight? God damn it! But because of that, I'm pretty good at Wonder Woman. She's the first member of my AI team as well. Because of that.
I've only messed around a little with that, but that's pretty cool.
And I've also unlocked that much gear for her that like isn't the 5 movie gears. That I have like my second Wonder Woman. You know, in terms of you make multiple. For those who don't know that, you can make multiple versions of each character, and you can unlock more spaces for it the higher level your character gets. Loadouts they're called, isn't it?
Yeah.
My second Wonder Woman, that loadout is just me using all the non-movie most powerful stuff I've got.
Nice.
With a god skin on, so she's like glowing white with white eyes, and she looks pretty freaky.
Nice.
But you're digging it.
I'm digging it so much. And
if people want to dig it with us, where should they find us?
Hey man, you can join our guild! What is the guild? What is the guild ID? You know the guild ID. I don't know
The guild ID. If you want to search names, but apparently that doesn't work very well. I give it a try myself.
Well.
We are the Big Damn Guild, but our guild ID is 2MHK0. 2MHK0.
Come and join us.
Come and join us like the Scouts, because you get bonus rewards. We've there's like just a few of us in there. There's like 3 of us, like regularly working on doing stuff.
Doing bits
and every now and again, just get a bunch of mother boxes. Just like, by the way, your guild's won a bunch of mother boxes. You're like,
Yay!
oh great, okay. So it's worth it for that loot fam. Apparently though, today after the first update. First patch ahead of the DLC starting to leak in, the cost of mother boxes has gone up by 50%.
I haven't bought any mother boxes. So
Neither have I. Like, you fight that much that there's no point.
Yeah.
I think there must be a batch of players who've played like the story mode, a few multiverses, and then have just spent all the earnings they've made in the game on mother boxes. And I'm like, guys, just play.
You get a fair
Just play,
bit in the story.
or have at least 5 AI matches a day, and you're getting 5. Do the daily challenges, you're getting a gold, a bronze, a silver, and a gold. Just play, man.
Yeah.
Just play. We've come to play.
Yes.
Speaking of that, I cracked out the Wii this week. And my god, it hasn't aged well. So, enough of that, though. Those who follow our YouTube channel might notice this week's Big Damn Love episode just gone. I covered the 1999 version of the movie The Mummy.
What did you cover it in, Chris? Did it have anything to do with the
There's
movie?
like 5 words I want to say. And all of them will get this thing stricken from the internet.
Because we've not said enough things on this thing.
The legs of Anubis. If you look closely.
So good.
I spent 10 minutes doing that. How sad is that?
You are a bad man.
I am.
You're a bad man.
But not as bad a man as Imhotep, who was, of course,
he was a bad man.
cursed with the Homdai, and even back in the original 1932 film, I think.
Jesus, that's old.
Imhotep was also the mummy in question in that. He was cursed, and he rises and begins to look for his lost love. And bizarrely in that one, oh god, what's his name? Monster movie actors. Shit.
Boris Karloff.
Boris Karloff, yes. I wasn't thinking Lon Chaney, but it was a different one. It's Boris Karloff as Imhotep, as the mummy, and Ardith Bey, who is the man like charged with guarding the mummy, but also might be a bad guy as well. That's the one, the most common used image when people show the image of that film is him in a fez with a really crinkly face. That's not the mummy, that's Ardith Bey. Because he's like 900 years old or something like that. It's
Well, you would be a bit crinkly if you were 900 years
old. A little bit, yeah. But it's like a double roll thing, and it's a cracking flick. It's worth a watch, and I look at, in that episode we talked about a few of the remakes. But obviously the new Mummy's coming out. Now, we've not seen it as of this recording.
No, it's not out until after this episode will go up.
Yeah, in fact, I think you're watching it the night of this episode going up.
Yes.
So travel back in time and tell us what you thought of it. In fact, here it is, Matthew's time travel review of 2017's The Mummy.
Tom Cruise in it.
Did he run?
Yeah. Screams weird. Drives an ambulance.
Oh. Is London in it?
That's Sophia Buttez, alright.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does she have legs?
Oh, she has legs.
Okay. Just checking. Because, gazelle in it.
She's got legs.
She got wires.
Coming in.
Yeah, she got wires.
Coming out of her skin.
Coming out of her skin.
Yeah.
So, what's the rating out of 10 for the movie?
It's sand out of 10.
Cool. And as that rating starts to run out, just grab it and turn it over.
Yeah, exactly. So it never goes down.
Perpetual sand.
Perpetual sand rating.
As long as there's someone there to turn it.
Infinite sand.
Infinite sand.
Infinite sand.
Now, movie monsters obviously are a big part of movie history, like the original sort of big pictures, like the ones that weren't comedies and romances that started to draw in audiences with the horrors of the namely 30s, 40s, and then the 50s. It sort of turned into like B-movie sci-fi, alien flicks, things about paranoia and everything.
I find that when you get a new media format,
yeah,
then the first two things that fill it are horror and porn.
Pretty much.
Sometimes both at the same time.
And sometimes both disguised as one.
Yes. Or one disguised as the other.
Yeah. Oh, lordy. I'll never roam again. It's, oh, Christ. But as a sort of a celebration of a film we've not yet seen, that is based on a thing that's quite near and dear to us.
Celebration of the concept.
Of horror and mummies and werewolves and vampires and all that good shite.
Oh, I love that shit.
We've decided to pick our top 3 movie Monsters. Now, we've both got
aye.
a top three, and we've
Oh,
got some
aye.
honourable mentions.
Oh, aye.
So what I want to do is we've not told each other what they are,
I've not.
but
I've never told myself what they are.
what I want
It's
you
going
to
to be a
do,
surprise to me.
what I want you to do, good sir, kind sir,
Good sir.
kind sir,
Yes.
is let's talk about our runners-up first. Who's
right.
our runners-up?
Cool monsters.
Which monsters missed your top three?
This is a bit of a deep pull, but it's important to me. The graboids from Tremors.
There's never big worms with like hooks for faces.
Yeah, kind of. They're big.
Kevin Bacon runs away from him a lot.
Yeah. Tremors is a great little monster movie because it's funny and silly, and it's got Kevin Bacon in it, and Kevin Bacon's the best, and it's got some great practical effects. There's one moment where it breaks through someone's basement and they just shoot it until it dies.
Yeah.
And they just have a basement full of guns and they just shoot every gun they have into this thing.
Does it kill it?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's basically they're like it's a huge like sort of you think they're little grabby things, and then when you find out later that they're just like the little tongues of the big monster, which is a big old worm, and it comes out and it has the little grabby things in it.
Basically, they were like, "Well, we did Dune, and we just didn't get any gigs for a while, so
Yeah.
we attached these wiggly things to the insides of our mouths."
Well,
and
speaking of
they went,
sandworms, I did watch Beetlejuice the other night
"Oh, snap!
because
Yeah,
Kiki's never seen it.
really? What did
So
she make of it first
I saw
time?"
the Beetlejuice. She enjoyed it. Yeah.
That is one I'd love to sit down with someone who'd never seen
It's
that.
it's very good. It's very, very good.
I do find people who are introduced to it, the first thing they say mostly is just like, "Oh God, Alec Baldwin was hot."
Oh my god, Gina Davis was hot.
It's not a good tooth to gum ratio.
And you know, as a young man growing up watching it, I found myself quite taken with Winona Ryder.
Yeah.
Although also going back and watching it now is a bit weird seeing Jeffrey Jones. There's that one scene where he's in the office and he's got the binoculars and he's looking at the town through the binoculars and you're just thinking, that seems maybe ill-advised in hindsight, making Jeffrey Jones a peeping Tom. He never touched them, Chris.
No. But you got to jump into your line.
Rocky
Take
Body
your
in
body on
time.
Okay, I
I
believe
believe
you. Great food. Great
Let's
food.
talk about one of your runners-up, Christopher.
One of my runners-up, good sir, kind sir, is not many people are aware of this one. They're aware of the original, but I'm singling it out. We all know the Blob.
Yes.
Big old pink thing Steve McQueen ran from, like, it's eating everybody,
But
run!
it's red in the original, but I know
Yeah.
which version's pink.
The 80s version, which is horrifying.
I have never seen it because I caught a little bit of it as a child and it scarred
you
me
for
for
life.
life.
Yes.
And I've never been back and watched it.
So the original is just sort of big amorphous custard-looking thing that like oozes
yeah.
over stuff and eats everything. It's eating vehicles and
But it's a
people.
movie that came out in the 50s, so it's not gory.
No, yeah. It's more in the implied horror, and again, it was all about like fear of the country being overwhelmed by foreign powers and things like this. In the 80s, they went, "This would make a great gore movie. Let's show it eating things and digesting things and stuff." So it's sentient, and the way it travels isn't as a giant clump for all of the film. It's sort of a little smaller in scale in terms of like how it creeps into things.
It
But there's
slithers, it crawls, it's creeping up the walls.
Yes, indeed. It's God, that's great. It's horrible. There's a bit where someone gets enveloped by the stuff, and you can see them. It's translucent enough that you can sort of see them. It's like the putty that you used to get those aliens.
Yeah, I've
in as
seen a
kid.
fair few clips and images of it.
Someone's inside it, and their arm is still out, and they're reaching, trying to grab their friend. Their friend grabs them, and they pull, and then they just pull their arm off. Because it's already dissolved the flesh and the bone where it's sticking out, and you can see their face underneath it just stretching back as it's eating at the skin. It's vile.
It's one of those movies where I've always meant to go back and watch it because now I'm old and I don't get scared about things like that. Or I enjoy being.
Because you see them all the time, you know.
Yeah, exactly. But now I'm not a child anymore. And I don't piss my pants in terror. I didn't piss my pants when I was little. That's just I did scream though. It was the bit where the hobo comes in and you can see him in the hospital bed and like he's not moving and then you pull the sheet back and he's just gone below the neck. It's like what?
That would do it.
That would do it.
The bit that freaked me out the most when I first saw it was the phone booth. Someone's trapped in the phone booth and this stuff just surrounds it. And there's a body in the goo, like pressing up against the glass. And it's mostly digested.
Oh.
But there's sort of like a hint of movement, like it's that like the vitals that are there are still keeping the body ticking.
Oh.
Yeah, like it's horrendous, and it's Shawnee Smith.
I know Frank Darabont wrote it.
Yeah.
So-
Oh god, yeah.
He's a big horror fiend. Is Frank
He
Darabont?
is. He does love it.
Which
he
is
can,
what
he can make his stylish sort
I
of,
would've-
more sort of poignant flicks, but then he's like, screw it.
I mean, just look at The Mist.
Yeah. Oh, crikey.
But
But the Blob missed out just because it's not a monster enough. It's more an overwhelming force of nature. So I didn't want to put it in my top three.
Well, it's one of those movies that I want to get back and watch, but it's really hard to find.
It is. It's a tough one.
It is in print still, but it's not.
It's imprinted in my
difficult to
brain,
find.
and that's why I tend to remember.
It's one of those things I'm going to pick up on Blu-ray. That and In the Mouth
It'll-
of Madness are
it'll
two
come
horror
out.
movies I really want to pick up on Blu-ray.
It'll
but they're really
end up
hard
being
to
one of
find.
those that comes out in like a Criterion collection at some point.
Yeah, it's got to do.
Like Gremlins 2 never got a wide Blu-ray release in the UK, so I bought the US version because it's my favourite
Yeah.
movie from the early 90s, and then it got released in the UK, but it's hard to find, and it's like wherever you get it from online in stores, it's like £25 because it's part of a like a BFI collection of films. It's like, oh my god, like just for Gremlins 2? Who else missed out on you three? Good sir, kind sir.
I'm a big fan of vampires,
Whoa.
but there's so many different versions of vampires in fiction, but I wanted to bring up two in particular.
Aye.
One is the vampires from the Blade movies, which I think are really cool versions of that,
Yeah.
particularly in 1 and 2. Not so much 3.
Especially in 2 when they start to show the variations and the different
Yeah,
kind of...
and then you've got the super
genes
vampires
of
with,
them,
with
yeah.
the split jaw and all that. They're pretty cool.
Yeah.
But they're fairly stock vampires, so there's not much to say about them.
They're sort of the same as like the Buffy vampires, for
Yeah,
example.
pretty much.
Yeah, the snarly faces, they bite people, they've got super strength.
And the other ones I want to bring up, which is similar in that they're kind of stock vampires, but they're just so well done and fun, is the Lost Boys.
Yes. Yes.
Because
Yes.
Kiefer Sutherland as the apparent head
Yeah.
of that little vampire clan is just so entertaining, and you've got the stuff with the you're eating worms, Michael, which they wonderfully parody in What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah.
You like biscotti?
Anything more?
It's one of those. It's not particularly. It's absolutely not original in the way it does vampires, but it's just such a well executed modern,
Yes.
modern for the 80s version of that myth.
Yeah,
That if you ever want to introduce someone to vampire lore, just get them to watch The Lost Boys. It's so well done, and the effects are there, but they're quite subtle. There's nothing crazy, creepy, mad makeup wise. There's some.
We're not going down Fright Night territory,
No.
for example, where
Or
the
from-
vampires are bigger and...
Or from Dusk Till Dawn,
Yes, yeah.
which has some great. I think it was the same team actually who did from Lost Boys, who then went on to do from the vampires in from Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh,
And
but
they
I wouldn't-
definitely leveled up.
I was going to say, I wonder if the ones in from Dusk Till Dawn took a bit of a bite, as it were, from the Fright Night
It
design.
wouldn't surprise me
Because obviously they've got like the big wide eyes and the
Yeah,
the stretched faces and
well,
everything.
they just mutate more. Like you see
Yeah.
the big black dude becomes a vampire, he's just got this weird sort of mouth with the it's like this big circle mouth and then wide grin and all that. And the strippers and like the one of them's got a mouth and a belly and the band and one of them's playing a flesh guitar. It's just it's so weird.
God, I love that movie.
It's so weird.
Six
But yeah,
friends, and they can all run a lot faster than you can.
in terms of like modern takes on or modern-ish now, because they're both old movies, modern-ish takes on the vampire mythos, I think Lost Boys and Blade are good shouts.
They're good shows.
Because there's so many vampires, but so you've got I like those versions of vampires.
Another one who's missed out on my top three is I'm debating whether or not I've made a mistake not including him in my top three, but it's just about personal preference, really. It's Freddy Krueger.
Yeah,
Because he was the first kind of he was the first kind of movie monster in the vein of the Universal sort of monsters to happen in about 50 years. Because from the 30s onwards to the 80s, it was mostly until the slashers started to come along, of which he is sort of like the next.
Oh,
step
yeah,
up.
absolutely.
He's like the next step up in the slasher pantheon. In that space, it was just remakes of stuff with Dracula the Wolfman, Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah,
the
different
mummy.
variations on a theme.
Yeah,
basically,
like spins
yeah.
on Creature from the Black Lagoon, like they're all kind of being regurgitated and reimagined and stuff. And then all of a sudden, Wes Craven goes, yeah, we're going to make a guy who would even haunt them in their dreams. He's terrified. Now, I know he gets watered down so much as that series goes on.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But he's never not entertaining to watch.
Well, that's part of the thing, is like some of the... as I think we'll get into with... when we get into our monsters.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily that they're scary, although certainly they are. At least my three are. But it's also that they're entertaining, for whatever reason.
Yeah.
They're entertaining to watch is what keeps you glued to the screen. There's a magnetism about the monster that even though it might be frightening or repulsive, you just can't take your eyes off the damn thing. And you would put someone with the personality of Robert Englund in that mask for Freddy, and you absolutely you get that.
Oh my god, this is God. And you're just like, oh, just he cuts his fingers off. Just to basically go, ha ha ha, you scared yet? Like, that's all, he doesn't even say it, but that's basically all he's doing. He's just like, I'm gonna scare you shitless, girl. And obviously, like, but a lot of what's really scary about him is what we see when he's not on screen.
Yeah.
It's the reactions in the real world to the nightmares. Like, the nightmares are all creative and elaborate and sometimes really simple and frightening and sometimes really, crazy and oddball and everything. And they get screwbally and even weirder as the series goes on.
Yeah.
But in that...
Long arms, Chris.
Yeah,
really long
in the
arms.
first one, yeah, that's just I was just stretched, just scraping the walls alongside him. But it's when you cut to the real world, and I think this is effective. Is most effective in 1, 2, and dare I say the remake, because you get to see people reacting. Obviously, the remake is mostly recreations of the first one, but it's a bit of a different visual.
I'd argue
it.
that the remake suffers from no Robert Englund, as good as Jackie Hill Haley is.
Jackie Hill Haley's fun, but it's a different Freddy, and there's something about his clear glee of the original that makes him so frightening. Yeah. I mean, I say this with both of them just behind me on a shelf. There.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
that, regardless of who's behind the mask, it's a fucking cool visual.
It's just freaky, but he's a burn victim who almost looks like a demon. Yeah. Because normally you see a burn victim, you're like, oh my god, like, I feel so sorry for them. They've been through something really horrible. Like, that must have been so painful. Like, and instead you look at him, you're like, why is he smiling? Why does he look really happy? Why does he look hungry? It's when you see, like, they go flying around the bedroom, like smacking into the walls and cuts appearing on her skin. You're like, the hell's going on? Like, it's so good. And just, I love it. But I think the fact that he sort of got goofy, he was compromised a little too much from what made him a really good movie monster. Yeah. So he just missed out on me 3. Have you got any other runners up? I've got one other significant runner up.
Okay, I guess I can get into one more significant runner up. Going into the 80s.
Yeah.
Oh man, if you've never seen David Cronenberg's The Fly,
Brundle,
go and see David Cronenberg's The Fly. It's
horrible.
It's grim. Like, it is. There's some
and
gnarly body horror in there.
This is a movie starring Jeff Goldblum and Gina Davis. You hear that and you go, grim? That sounds like it'll be one of the most adorable things I've ever watched. It's the 80s. They've both got perms.
It's just,
and they are the chemistry and everything for the first 2/3 of that is really sweet and cute.
Oh yeah,
it's a very likable movie, but
and Jeff Goldblum's performance as he's this. He just feels himself deteriorating, and he feels himself losing his humanity. And seeing him document that, and so things like when he takes his fingernails and his teeth out and puts them in a little box in the medicine cabinet, and it's just, I was an insect dreaming, I was a man. Now the dream is over and the insect is awake. And then the final denouement with when you get the full insectoid brundlefly sort of. Peeling out of this
sort of human flesh and muscle like exterior, but it's got like the long arms and their heads that are swelling like it's freaky.
It's
vomiting on people to melt them away, and it's just like that's grim.
It's a triumph of creature design, and again, before you get to that point and you've got his mutation, it's sold by the guy in the makeup with Jeff Goldblum just doing this deterioration of one man descending into beasthood wonderfully. It's
not a beasthood we're used to seeing. We're used to seeing people transform into wolves and things like that.
It's
and
so
instead,
insectoid and different, so other, so alien. It's a real one. It's a real keeper. You should go and see The Fly. Go get it.
You've seen number 2, haven't you?
Oh yeah.
Was it you and Guy who've tried to convince me to see number 2? I've still not watched it yet.
Pretty good. It's definitely up there.
I think it came off it came off Netflix after I put it on the queue, and I was like, damn it! It might still be on there, but it was on my queue and then it was gone.
Yeah, The Fly 2 is definitely worth a watch. It's not nowhere near as good as the first, but it's got some charm to it.
It's got Yarm.
It's got Eric Stoltz and his weird face.
Spoiler alert: it doesn't have Jeff Goldblum.
Does not have Jeff Goldblum. It does have Jeff Goldblum in a deleted scene from the first one. Because he's keeping video logs all through the first one. It's one of those, isn't it?
So he does appear in it, and they probably didn't have to pay him any money for it.
He appears in a sense. He appears, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's again the creature design in it is fantastic, and there's some gore and nastiness in there as well, and it's not just the fly creature that's a wonderful bit of creature design in The Fly 2 either. There's some really good other bits and pieces.
I think I know what you're referring to.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Considering what it could have been, it could have been like a cheap. I guess it was a cheap cash-in sequel in a way, but they, it holds up pretty well actually as far as these horror sequels go. Because a lot of the time there's a sharp drop off.
Yeah,
but The Fly 2 is pretty damn good, I think.
Just missing my 3 and last runner-up is they're known by a different name in the expanded media and everything. Like they've been given a proper name, and I think it's it begins with a Y. But
do you know
what I'm talking
about?
Yeah, I'm talking about the Predator. What is it they're called? I think it's like the
old Aliens expanded universe.
Oh, has it changed since?
They were called the Yautja.
The Yautja
was the name that was given to them.
Right.
Yautja.
Right. Yes, that's the one. I'd seen it written down so many times.
But I don't know if they've kept that going forward into the new expanded universe. I've not seen it since. I've only seen it a couple of times but they had taxonomic names for like the Predator with the Yautja, the Xenomorphs with Linguifioda Acheronis.
Oh Christ alive!
I know, right? And what were the space jockeys with the Malakak?
Malakak.
Of course, that's been
also changed.
They're retcon now because now we know that they're a completely different thing.
Yeah,
to what
they're not elephant.
To
people.
what that old expanded universe thought they were.
But the Predator, we'll call him the Predator. We'll call him Mr. Predator if you're nasty.
No one calls him the Predator. He's a predator. He's the Predator. He doesn't need a species name.
He, in particular, I'm referring to in particular the one from the first movie.
Yeah,
fucking terrifying movie monster because. Not, I mean, all right, the basic surface level stuff. You can't see him. He's got advanced weaponry. He's the ultimate hunter. But what makes him terrifying is that in that first movie, we see this beast up against what I think we would arguably call like the ultimate alpha male specimens. Like he's up against
Shane Black
and Shane Black, but he's up against basically a bunch of massive burly dudes, over-equipped with weapons. Incredibly experienced in combat, can wipe out an enemy guerrilla camp with next to it looks like no effort to them at all.
No, Jesse Ventura is bleeding, man.
He ain't got time to bleed.
Oh, okay.
But
duck.
But that's oh god. But that's what I mean. Like it's Jesus Christ. I want to watch Predator now. But that's the thing. We see him up against it. He's not chasing teens in a neighbourhood. He's not overwhelming a crew that were unsuspecting.
These are no easy targets.
Yeah, these guys are the best of the best of the best. And there's a reason why the film, for the most part, was marketed as just like a standard Arnie, commando kind of military film, and with a bit of a hint of there being something else to it.
And it basically is that for like the first half hour, 45 minutes.
My favourite scene in the whole movie is before he even really gets stuck in. It's the guerrilla camp assault.
Yeah.
It's incredible,
That's like
especially in surround.
Straight up action movie. Not
Stick
even
around. It's so good.
Knock knock.
Oh god.
It's basically it feels like it could be a Commando sequel up until
he's
Shane
picking
Black's
up dead
killed.
scorpions and recording the voice, and you're just like, wait, yeah, like since Shane Black's gone, you're like, oh shit, this is a sci-fi movie now. Oh my god, he ambushes the film, and that's why he's a great movie monster. Because
you know that something's going on because you do see that there is that opening shot of the spaceship, but if you ignore that, it could just be a military movie with like someone with a bunch of high tech.
Yeah.
But then it becomes clear that this is not
of this world.
This is not of this world, and
the jungle came alive and took him. But again, that's the thing too. It's like he's conquered ultimately by his own smugness.
Oh yeah.
Like he's so determined. He's like, I've killed every single one of you, and there's one of you left. All right, I'm going to enjoy this. Takes the mask off, takes the gun off. It's just him and his blades and like his basic armor with his weird crab face out in the open for Arnie to look at and go, "You're one ugly motherfucker."
Yes,
and that's what loses him the fight, because suddenly, like, yes, he's still like superior than Arnie as a physical specimen.
Yeah,
but he's so self-assured in his victory that he doesn't Arnie manages to outsmart him just enough. And it's like, oh, this is so good. Just
good.
The design.
It's real good.
The fact that it looks intimidating and frightening before the mask comes off, never mind when it does.
Yeah,
when it does, it's such a great surprise. And I wish that, like, the expanded media and, the comics and the toys and everything hadn't, like, spread its visage all over the packaging as much as it had.
Yeah.
Because I like the idea that, like, unless you watch the film, you don't get the treat of seeing what it looks like under the mask.
Yeah, that's true.
The first DVD I got was the 2-disc special edition from the mid-2000s.
Oh, yeah, I know that.
And
green cover.
Yeah, with the Predator's face, like, full on the front.
Oh, yeah,
I was like, what? There was 2 versions of it. The first version released was like a slipcover with Arnie on the front. And when you pulled out, like, the inner cover, the cardboard cover, the Predator was on it.
I think that's the one I've got.
Yeah.
Well, I've got the Blu-ray now,
but that's fine, because it's like you're buying that version of the movie because you love the movie.
Oh, yeah.
The version I got was the second release of that DVD, where it was just a normal DVD box and a slipcover, and on the front of both, it was just the Predator. And I was like, well, that ruins it. I can see his face. I can see his bloody face now. But one of the great designs, like, it has human features. It's got 2 eyes and a mouth where eyes and a mouth should be.
It's humanoid.
But it's got a big, long, bulging head. It's got massive, metallic-looking dreadlocks. It's got mandibles like a freaking insect, but it's slimy, like what you think a reptile looks like.
It's got mouth fingers.
It's got mouth fingers hanging from its face holes.
Yeah.
It's got a little snout. It's just like, it's horrifying. And again, like there's one on a shelf behind us.
I'm looking down at one.
There's one there too. I bloody love them.
And also, regardless of the quality of the various sequels, it's always cool when the Predator itself actually turns up.
Yeah. The only reason the first one nearly made it to my top 3 is because the one in Predator 2 gets taken out by a cop who's too old for this shit.
Hey, it's Danny Glover, though.
It is Danny Glover, but then every other Predator has been taken out by, like, even more not as impressive forces.
Yeah.
So it's like, the ones in Predators are decent, but even in that film they have to invent, like, the next level up versions to make the originals one look kind of crap in comparison. It's like, oh, what the blood.
And then Alien vs Predator's not very good.
Yeah, well, they're pussies, because, like, look at them, they're covered in so much armour and weaponry.
Yeah.
It's like, they wouldn't rip off their stuff and beat the crap out of a xenomorph. They wouldn't bother.
No.
Right! Top 3 time.
How are we doing this?
This is how we're going to do this.
You've got a format.
I've got a bit of a format that Matthew was not made aware of.
I'm still not aware of it, so it's as much a surprise to you as it is to me.
Meats.
Uh-oh.
Before us we have some post-it notes.
Oh, okay.
Now what I want you to do is, as we announce each one, I want you to write down, as you're announcing who it is, write it down, just pop it on the table. Why? You'll find out in a bit. So, take this pen, good sir.
Yeah.
Matthew Bartholomew Watson.
Yeah.
Keeper of the Flame.
Yeah.
Ward of the Last House of Antioch. Who is your third place movie monster?
This is a bit of a weird one.
Okay. That's fine.
Because...
It's Frankenfurter, isn't it?
It's not that weird.
It's not easy having a good time.
Because it might not necessarily be considered a monster in the strictest sense.
Okay.
But the way the movie is, and the sort of legendary status it's taken on, I think makes it stand out.
Okay.
And you don't see that much of it in the film. but when you do see it,
Right.
you fucking know about it.
Okay.
And in terms of names, I don't think it has a particular name, but I'm going to call him Bruce.
Oh, shit.
It's the shark from Jaws.
Whack him down. Whack Bruce down on that piece of paper. I'm bloody having it.
Oh, Bruce.
Good old Brucey.
The
Nice.
shark from Jaws.
That's a good show. So why did he make it into your number 3?
Jaws is one of my favourite movies of all time. It's one of the earliest sort of clearly not for kids films that I have memories of. Because it was on TV all the time.
Lots of families watched this movie.
Oh man, yeah, like it's not high rated at all. I think it's only like there's a scene in that movie where a dude's severed leg floats down to the seafloor. I think it's only a PG. Like there is blood in that movie. Not hello pen. Not necessarily overt gore, but it's also as a movie making exercise. It's a perfect example of how to sell your monster.
Yeah.
Because you have it there and you don't see it for like the whole movie.
Yeah.
Until the very end. And
he is a late-ass addition into his own film.
That was an accident.
Yes.
Because the shark didn't fucking work. But it's ended up making...
I just love that. It's like, it's one of the ultimate success stories in that it's like, how did this get to be as good as it was?
Because the fucking prop didn't work.
Because it went wrong. The film is great because it went to shit.
And it's, so because they had to shoot around it, not only did it allow them to spend more time on the characters in the film and make it a much more rounded character piece, I mean, as Mark Kermode would like to say, it's not a film about a shark.
It's not.
Because it kind of isn't. But you can't ignore that fucking shark.
No, you can't.
And the damage it does. And it becomes as much a creature of the visual as it does of the oral, because you don't see it, you get that theme every time it's around. And you know when it's not around and they're pulling a red herring because you don't hear the theme. But it's such... The way they weave its presence in and out of that film is masterful. And just that... The theme is almost as much the monster as the shark is, because the way it appears and sort of hunts the characters. And then you have that whole third act sequence when they're out on the boat, and it just terrorizes them. And it's like you were saying with the Blob earlier, like maybe it doesn't fit because it's a force of nature essentially, but there's something just malevolent about it, even though it isn't. Maybe it isn't a thinking creature, but it feels like it's malevolent and nasty and evil, and it just wants to get at you and ruin your shit. And boy, does it! Like,
boy, howdy! I'm
man.
Woody. Howdy.
Yeah, it's just... Yeah, it's an iconic piece of cinema, and it works so well because you don't see it. So that when you're
in its domain,
exactly.
You're completely helpless.
That's why
to
that
stop
third
it.
act is so. Basically, there's 3 guys on a rickety ship.
Yeah.
With a shark that literally tears it apart.
Wants to F their S.
And it's also why the sequels are shit.
Yeah, well,
because they completely missed the point of.
It's not Bruce in any of them, though, is it? So
no,
Bruce escapes the terribleness of the later.
I'll say Bruce escapes the terribleness. Bruce gets his head blown off.
Well, yeah, that happens when you decide to eat a grenade instead of a sandwich.
And it's a compressed air tank.
Oh yeah, is it? Why do I think grenade? The ride at Universal. That's why I keep thinking grenade, because that's how your tour guide takes it out, or used to take it out on that ride. And based on the tour guide, you would have a very different experience. I rode it twice in 2010, and we got somebody who was like really selling it. Like, it was like, oh, they're brilliant. They've made this really intense and enjoyable. And the next person was Campers Christmas, and it made it intense for a whole different reason. It was like, oh no, the shark's coming at us! Everybody take cover! It was just like, what is this?
The shark is here!
It was like we've gone from Jaws to Jaws the Revenge.
Oh, God.
I've never seen that movie. But I have seen the house that movie helped to pay for, and it is a very nice house.
Jaws the Revenge is bad. Jaws 2 is not great.
Was it Jaws the Revenge that stars technically a descendant of Bruce that somehow remembers?
That's the...
or was that number 3?
That's the that's the idea of it. Yeah.
Oh, how terrible, man.
Yeah.
Do we have the sequels? I think might have the sequels.
Yeah, because they
in
do a
this
box
house.
set. Because they did
They did a very misleading box set.
which says Jaws 2, 3, and The Revenge. Doesn't include Jaws. It's just the sequels, but the way it's set out makes you think it's
I think
it's
we might have,
got the first
I think we
one.
might have given it away or something. Yeah, it just says Jaws, and then you turn it around, it says like, the collection. Jaws 2, Jaws 3, Jaws 3, as it's called now, and Jaws the Revenge.
There's some dodgy moments in Jaws 3 with the 3D.
Oh, Christ.
The 80s,
terribly
late
chroma
70s 3D.
Terribly chroma keyed floating limbs.
Oh man, no good. But that first movie and that first shark. Oh mama,
Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water.
Just tell me, Christopher.
My third place beastie,
Beastie,
or should I say beasties, are those oriental demons that like to tear up small towns. It's the Gremlins.
I'm honestly surprised these aren't your number one.
They're in my 3, so congratulations to them.
Yeah.
But the Gremlins have made it into my top 3 because what is more terrifying than a horror that you invite into your home?
The thought of another 5 years of Tory government.
What is almost as terrifying as that is something that you bring into your home. Because that's the thing with the Gremlins. You're the reason it happens. These horrible creatures that could take over a small town.
Yes.
This could have been stopped had you just not brought that adorable little thing home. And not accidentally got it wet and then not left the food out after midnight.
Do you think it's an allegory for pregnancy?
I don't know. Well, the thing is, Gremlins. The idea of Gremlins comes from World War II, when American planes and machines would cock up. Like people would say, "Oh, there's a gremlin in the machine."
There's a great episode of lore about this.
There's a great episode of Looney Tunes about it.
Oh yes. It's not. It wasn't just stories of gremlins causing mechanical failure. People actually swear they hallucinated that they saw them. It might have been hallucinations, or maybe they were just very good liars. But they swear they saw them and
the creatures on the wings and climbing out of engines as the planes take off.
Yeah.
Which, of course, like Twilight Zone tells a story all about that. The terror at 20,000 feet, which is then retold in the movie with a slightly better puppet and John Lithgow instead of early Shatner going, "There's something on the wing. Something on the wing." Which is great, because he's brilliant in the episode, but whenever I watch it now, I just think of that bit in Ace Ventura, where he's just taking the piss out of it. But, and obviously in that, the Gremlins are just like a big, like, 5-foot-tall, hairy beast, and in the Twilight Zone movie, it's sort of a big furry thing with, like, a fleshy, creepy, toothy face and everything. But the Gremlins I'm talking about are the Warner Brothers, Joe Dante, little bastards, who start out as the adorable Mogwai. You've got Gizmo, who's the main one, bought by Rand Peltzer, brought back to his son Billy as a Christmas gift, with 3 explicit rules. Matt, 3 rules. You writing these down? 3 rules.
I used to have a school folder with the 3 rules on.
Really?
It was a Gremlins one, yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah. Oh shit. So it was a really fucked up biology class where they just said, "Right, you can learn about this now, kids. It's real."
I got it from a shop in Bolton. I can't remember which one.
Bolton.
Bolton.
That's a joke for people old like us. Depressing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, don't get them into bright light. Bright light can harm them. Sunlight will kill them. Don't get them wet. Like, don't give them a drink, whatever the hell you do, don't give them a bath. But most importantly, the rule you must never forget, don't feed them after midnight.
Don't feed them after midnight.
So you've already got the really cool, like, old school movie monster edition. Is that the folder?
Yeah.
That looks amazing. A little Billy on the front.
Yeah.
You've got the really cool sort of old school monster tradition of it has rules. It has like a curse or a thing to, do you know what I mean? It's like you've got the whole stuff of the mummy back in the day of like, no, don't dig it up because it'll take revenge on everybody who desecrated the tomb. In this, it's like you've got this tiny little cute thing. Don't do 1, 2, and 3. Just don't. But naturally, the case will always exacerbate, and you end up with more Mogwai that then transform into these horrible, scaly bat-like reptile monkey things.
Again, it's such a great design.
It's so good, and they go through two big iterations in the two films that they're in. The
Yeah.
first one, they're all sort of very similar, little black and green, sort of scruffy, scary little toothy things with red eyes. Yeah, and then in the second one, they become a lot more expressive and slightly more frightening because of it, I think.
Well, then you've also got all the variations.
You've got the four main sort of baddie ones in the second one. You've got Mohawk, like Strike Point 2. You've got who goes undergoes a very horrific 8-legged transformation later in the movie.
Yeah.
You've got Daffy, who's basically a living Looney Tune. You've got them all around it. There's Daffy.
Yeah.
You've got Daffy. You've got Lenny over there, the big goofy one, and George, which is a nice reference on himself. You get those two. And then you just get the really sort of big, wide-eyed, expressive faces. Like that one behind you there, the brown one's got like that sort of expression. They just look really freaky.
Yeah.
But the reason why I picked the Gremlins is because it's a plague in physical form.
Yes.
They spread. Rats spreading the bubonic plague, whatever. No, this is a plague that will either toy with you sadistically for its own entertainment or kill you and play with your things. Like, that's basically what they are. Yes, they are comedy horror monsters, but the death and destruction of Kingston Falls in that first movie, you're like, oh my god, these things like to hurt people.
Oh yeah.
And all they've got to do, when the sun rises on another day, all they've got to do is make sure they're out of the sunlight, they'll hide. So you could come back and you could be like, oh, I think they're gone now, my god. And you start to rebuild everything. You go into the shops and everything, try and build everything back up. And one of you just happens to walk into the stock room to turn the light on, and before you do, you get pounced on by a bunch of toothy little monsters because they're just waiting. They're waiting. And then obviously in the second film, freaking brilliant, all trapped in a skyscraper. So it's like a tower of horrors. Like you are stuck in this like 100-floor building, and every floor has got something that is going to either kill you or play with you for its own amusement. And then nighttime rolls around, like he's about to roll around, and you're like, oh god, they're going to get out and spread through New York. Oh my god. All it takes is for them to go for a dip, run through a fountain, open some bottled water and pour it on themselves. It's so good. Yeah. So I like them because they are physical plague. They're funny as fuck when you watch the movies. Like they're not like the Critters and other sort of similar spreading beasties. Like these guys have a personality, which makes them even scarier. Because it's like, I accidentally made that, and now it's enjoying doing things to me.
Yeah.
It's horrible. It's freaking horrible. And then there's the ultimate thing of, even if you solve the problem, surely the most sensible course of action you could take is killing Gizmo. But who's going to kill Gizmo?
Why would you kill Gizmo?
This adorable little thing.
Gizmo!
But it's inevitable. Like, even at the end, it's like, you do not understand. You are not ready. And there's this whole thing of like, maybe one day I'll bring him back to you. But it doesn't happen because I think his name's Mr. Wing. I think he dies at the start of number 2, and like Gizmo ends up in the bio-research lab of the Clamp Centre, which is hilarious. Like looking back at Gremlins 2 now, it's got this extra level of weird depression because it's basically Trump Towers. Like that's the location of the movie, the Clamp cable network and all that stuff in that building. Although Mr. Clamp is a lot more likeable and less of a demagogue. So there is all that. But, it's like Gizmo ends up somewhere else and horrible things happen. More Mogwai arrive, and then the Mogwai become Gremlins, and it gets worse. It's like, so you could kill the Gremlins. You just have to kill Gizmo. But do you really want to be the one to do that? Do you really want to be the one to hold the pillow over his furry little face?
Oh, no.
So that's why I like him, because you can't really get rid of him unless you're a sadistic bastard.
That's true.
Matthew Watson, here's the pen. Who's your second place movie monstier?
Well, I'm going...
Ooh!
Oh, righty go.
Oh, don't warm yourself up like that.
I'm going back to the idea of, you touched on, of monsters as plague.
Oh, okay.
This is a plague you cannot see.
I think
you cannot stop.
I was expecting this one.
And you might not even know you're infected.
Oh, God.
Until it's too late.
I was expecting this one.
And your head splits open into a big mouth.
Yeah.
And eats the person next to you.
Are you talking about The Thing?
The Thing.
From another world? Question mark? If the prequel's to be believed, it's definitely an alien.
Yeah, well, definitely. No, it is an alien because they find the ship in the first one.
Of course they do. Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. Of course. Of course.
The question is, was it?
Of course.
What they do in the prequel?
Yeah.
Not the reboot. Why do people call it a reboot? It's not a reboot.
Because it's called The
a
Thing,
prequel.
and it is essentially the same story.
But it is clearly a prequel.
When you watch it, it is.
Yes,
Yeah.
because it's set in the Norwegian base, and it's also a period piece. Fucking idiots. It's a prequel.
Maybe they should have called it, like, I don't know, anything other than just The Thing. Because now it's like, so which one do I watch first? The Thing. And then what do I watch next? John Carpenter's The Thing. So which one was the original? John Carpenter's The Thing. So The Thing comes before John Carpenter's The Thing. Yes, but John Carpenter's The Thing was released before The Thing. Yes. So what you're saying is I need to watch The Thing, and then The Thing. Yes.
Don't worry about The Thing from Another World.
Unless you just fancy a warm-up.
Yeah.
So what in that movie, for example, can you recall what the monster was like in The Thing from Another World?
It's basically a giant walking carrot.
Fair dues.
But
it's the inspiration. It's
the story of who goes there
it's called
has
Who
the
Goes There.
shape-shifting.
Yeah.
And the shape-shifting monster. The film of The Thing from Another World ditches that.
Yeah.
And it's just a inhuman monster. The John Carpenter's The Thing works so well.
Yeah.
Because it is paranoia.
It's claustrophobic paranoia at its finest.
It's a bunch of dudes holed up in a base in the Arctic, completely cut off, and there's a thing with them that can mimic them. And they don't even... It's never made clear in the film if the people who are things know that they're things until they start to mutate.
So you don't know if it's deceiving everyone, or you don't know if it's just in them now.
Yeah.
And it's going to assimilate them and eventually burst out when the moment's right.
And you see them stop one of the people, stop it while it's trying to assimilate someone else. So clearly there's a process. But once that person's assimilated, do they then know that did they remember they were assimilated?
Oh, God.
Because what seems to happen is that the body that's infected just takes measures to preserve as much of itself as it can, rather than not so much through actions, but like there's literally that one moment where they, the one of the people who's infected has a heart attack. They try to resuscitate him, and his chest opens up to a big mouth, bites off the other guy's arms, and while they're trying to deal with that body, his head turns into a fucking spider and walks away, which is so fucking ridiculous that one of the characters turns around and literally says, "You gotta be fucking kidding me! You can't stop this thing. One drop of it can cause an outbreak, and then everyone's dead."
Yeah.
Which is why that of course, I won't spoil it for you, but I don't think it's spoiler to say that movie does not end on a hopeful note. It's in fact part of what is considered to be John Carpenter's Apocalypse trilogy, along with Prince of Darkness and In the Mouth of Madness, which are both also movies that have some pretty cool creature designs and have the same sort of dark, downbeat feel to them.
A very finite kind of
Yeah.
open end, but it's like, we're never going to tell you what happens now.
No.
You imagining it is the worst thing that could come about.
There is a sense of paranoia in it. But of course, what makes it such a memorable monster is Rob Bottin's effects work.
Yeah.
And it's aged so well because it's all rubber and latex and slime and
stretching flesh and jagged bits of insectoid limb and
if you're not into body horror, then The Thing is not the movie for you.
And if you are into body horror, it'll probably still make you chuck up what your last ate.
Man, it is wonderful. It's just so wonderfully grisly and slimy and gruesome, and it's just the plastic nature of the creatures in it. You just see things you wouldn't think to see. You wouldn't think that you would see in anything else. There are some similar creatures. One that I watched recently I finally got around to, was From Beyond.
Okay.
Which is the guys who did Reanimator, the same movie. It's got Jeffrey Combs in it as well. And that's got a similar sort of plasticity to its monsters, and which is very Lovecraftian. And I suppose that's what attracts me about The Thing as well, is that it is essentially Lovecraftian in nature. It's a cosmic horror story, a thing that you have no hope of beating, that can send you mad and has
Well, I think that's the most frightening,
indescribable form.
The most frightening thing about it isn't even the fact that it, can look like these horrifying, like it can suddenly its neck just grow and it have a bloated potato face with teeth, or it turn into a spider. It's not even that. It's the fact that it drives you insane, knowing it's there and knowing you can't do anything to find out where it is, what it's planning,
or trying to work
whether
out
it's you.
There is that moment. It's like, I'm not. Yeah, I can't want to get into what exactly is so great, particularly about the ending, because I think you should just go and watch The Thing. Go and watch The Thing.
You are so going to do a big damn love.
Oh yeah, I just don't know when I'm going to do it, but it's on the list. It's on the list.
Well, speaking of this list, my number 2 movie monster
is it a big poo?
It's just a giant piece of it's the shit monster from Dogma. No, my number 2 movie monster. Yeah. My number 2 movie monster is put it this way, it's a science fiction icon. It's a horror icon. It's seen equally sort of in both categories, both sort of genres, as something very, significant. In fact, it's so well designed, you could call it the perfect organism. That's the trailer noise. My second place movie monster is our old pal, the Xenomorph, aka Alien.
Well, I think I should spoil the surprise right now and tell you that this is my number 1.
That is great. Well, in that case, what perfect timing, because we can talk about it together.
The Alien.
Alien. I mean, how do we begin? It's again, it's not even the monster. It's what the monster does to you, what it does to be born, to be created, what it does to reproduce. It's Violation as movie monster. Like, The Thing is very much like that in a way, but the thing with The Thing, you could be like, oh god, like, what if it's one of us? It could be you, and you might not know. Maybe, as we were saying, like, maybe they do. Maybe they do know, and they are The Thing, and they're just playing along. But with this, you turn around, something hits you in the face. Next thing you know, you're waking up, like, several hours later, going, is everything alright? And everyone's like, oh god, yeah, we found you just, like, lying there. Are you okay? It's like, yeah, great, fine, carry on as normal. A couple of hours later, something erupts out of your body.
Yeah.
Like, you have basically been violated and used as you were a womb. You become a walking womb in the life cycle of this thing. Yeah. And then it grows quick. And its mission at that point is to either, in the case of the later films, sort of gather people to be taken back to nests, to be impregnated and create more, or based on which cut of the original movie you're watching, but sort of the generic plot is, it just wants to survive. It's alive now, and it will stay alive if it kills you. It's not scared, because it knows it's won, and that's why it takes its time. In that first movie, it isn't dashing around, it isn't leaping off of surfaces, it isn't headbutting a windshield while Danny McBride goes, whoa! Like, it's stalking the corridors and, like, slowly slinking down from the chains above and just, like, disguising itself by... It freaking hibernates a couple of times in that first movie. There's bits where it just hides. It just sort of sits amongst pipes and stays there because it's listening. And when you're near enough, it's like, right, just slowly slinks out and kills you. It's terrifying. It's 9 foot tall. It's got a giant head, the body of a malnourished basketball player. It looks like a bunch of metal dicks and vaginas.
It's such a terrifyingly, disturbingly beautiful design.
It gets in close and doesn't even bite you with its mouth. It opens its mouth and a smaller mouth, like, shoots out and pierces your skull.
Yep.
It's horrifying. And it's the old school Universal monster movie kind of creature in that it's like, the creature from outer space. Like, that's essentially what it is. But they've added that few extra bits of detail, like the life cycle and the slowness of it. And the fact that it's not evil. It just is.
But then again...
That's scary.
What is doubly scary is that, particularly in that first movie, you sometimes get the sense that it is intelligent. And maybe maybe it's playing with them.
Yeah, it's not a beast. Like it is in terms of like in its purest form. It's a creature.
It's an animal, but it's a smart animal.
Yeah, it's monster. Like not going from the sort of the wolf. I mean, obviously, wolves are intelligent creatures, but like the wolf man is a wolf. It's a beast. It's a claws and teeth.
There's a
and
malevolence to
with the aliens.
alien,
The alien's a tiger.
Yeah,
the alien's a tiger that's cornered its prey into like a little bit of land in the middle of a lake, and it's just walking round the lake, waiting because it's like you're gonna come over here at some point.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna do it, and even if you don't, I might get bored, and for shits and giggles, I'll swim over to you. Yeah. It's like, oh god, like it knows. And even at the end when Ripley gets into the escape pod and everything, she gets into the smaller ship.
Yeah,
it's already figured that out.
Oh yeah, it's there before her.
It's in there.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god, it's obviously just looked around and it's gone, well, she's not been there yet. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to go that way. Because she's going to go there eventually. It's the only place she's not gone yet. I'm going to go over there.
Yep.
And it waits, and not only that, it waits until after she's completely vulnerable. She's at her most vulnerable. Weapons down. She's like getting undressed to go back into stasis. She's like, I'm just going to conk out now. Like, I've escaped. I'm fine. And that's when it's like, hey girl! It just rocks back out of its hiding place, goes, you thought I was gone, man.
And the way
I'm gonna fuck you up. But even then, it doesn't like do it quickly.
It's
slow, like like armed out, but it just slowly comes out.
The way it moves in that first movie is
horrifying.
And they make them more insectile in later movies. I think Aliens does some really nice stuff with having swarms of them.
Yeah,
and a huge queen,
who is surprisingly mobile for how big she is. Like you look at her and you go, she's terrifying, but we could outrun that. And then you sort of see it in action. You go, no, we couldn't. It will find us.
Yeah,
it will kill us, and if it doesn't, it'll lay enough eggs to have us killed very quickly.
And also, its tail is like 12 feet long. So
oh god, there's massive teeth.
Yeah,
like but the teeth are like something like 2 foot long, like the longest ones.
Yeah,
it's horrifying.
It's huge.
But if I'm having to narrow it down, I'm picking the OG.
The OG, yeah.
So he's your number one. Which one would you pick then as your number one? Are you picking OG, Alien, 1979, Beastie?
I think for the sake of
peace in our time.
What do we call it? For the sake of diversity. God, I forgot the buzzword. Oh, no wonder I don't work for the BBC. For the sake of diversity, I'm going to go with Aliens because I like I say, the idea of the swarm of them and the hive mentality, I think that's certainly the aspect of a lot of the sci-fi tilted versions of depiction of the alien that would run with, because that original incarnation of the alien, you introduce weapons into that scenario. And it's still threatening, but there's a way you can manage it.
Yeah.
What works so well about Aliens and the swarm idea is, you can have all the guns in the world, but there's more of them than there are of you. And you know what? Even if you're not that outnumbered, they're faster and they're stronger.
Yeah.
And if you shoot one, it will bleed onto you and melt your face off. Yeah, the Alien is my all-time, hands down favourite, number one movie monster, boy. Tell me, Chris.
Tell you tales.
Who is your number one movie monster? Wire?
Well, I thought about it, and I thought, why are we talking about this in the first place? We're talking about this because the Mummy's out, and we're going back to that OG kind of mentality of the movie monster, who is plain and simple. They're usually the title character of the movie.
Yeah,
like they outlive the original source material, like and become part of the zeitgeist. They may be mocked, they may be ridiculed, they may be made into something stupid or novel, or appear in a freaking animated Alvin and the Chipmunks special from the late 80s and things like that. You remember them, But, I mean, for Christ's sake, half the time they get undone by a stoner and his talking dog, but ultimately, there's a reason why those guys stick around. Especially when you look back to where they came from. A lot of them came from very classic horror novels.
Yeah.
So how do you pick from those guys which one's the best? Well, Frankenstein's monster. Big, tall, giant, hulking brute of walking corpses.
Mm.
But he does have a sensitive side. He can be appealed to.
Putting on the
But you can't... Damn your eyes. Too late. You can appeal to Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah.
You can even create a bride to distract him with. The creature from the Black Lagoon is horrifying.
Gillman,
But, half the time he won't get stuck in and kill people. He'll just carry them out like fireman style of the lake.
I'm Bill. Nice to meet you.
Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Would you like to join me for a pool party?
Would you like a creature from the Black Macaroon?
I've never seen Creature from the Black Lagoon, but that is a really cool design that I quite like.
OG Phantom of the Opera. Scary, but ultimately just a pining, creepy, romantic dude. With a piggy nose.
I'm not as scary as Jared Butler's singing voice.
Oh, God. The point of no return!
And also, the most disappointing reveal of, facial trauma in cinema history.
It was Joel Schumacher.
I mean,
even in The Lost Boys, his vampires are pretty.
Come on.
So...
Yeah, of course. Well, yeah, it's a good Joel Schumacher film, isn't it?
So already we're narrowing it down, right?
Narrowing
To
it
sort
down.
of, sort of like a few specific
Yeah.
ones. It's Man. No, I'm kidding.
Man is the real monster.
Well, it looks like Man because it wants you to think it's simply just a man. My number one movie monster of all time is the ultimate Prince of Darkness himself,
Yes.
Dracula.
He is still a threat.
Dracula
is still a threat.
Frightening. Now, there are so many fucking versions of Dracula. He is alongside Tarzan and I think...
but it's a public domain character.
Whatever character it is that Robert De Niro's been playing his whole career.
Yeah.
Alongside Tarzan. Dracula is one of the most adapted fictional characters and stories ever.
Oh, and Sherlock Holmes, obviously.
Alongside Sherlock Holmes, there's a lot of those things that, like you say, are out in the public domain. They're out of copyright.
Like
so they
John
can be adapted by everybody. Oh, God.
You know that successful Disney franchise?
Oh, God. There's so many reasons that didn't work. But anyway, I feel like I'm trying, but just no. I think the trying was the problem part.
Yeah.
Dracula is fucking frightening, and it depends on who's telling the story. But the version I'm going to focus on, I mean, come on. We're talking movie monsters. Gary Oldman, fine.
He's fine. That movie's got... I like that movie, but it's got problems.
Jared Butler in Dracula 2000. No thanks. Christopher Lee during the Hammer horror era. Fucking great.
Love a bit of Christopher Lee, don't we?
But where do we get it from? Now, in the book, Dracula is described as he is sophisticated. He is very charming, hypnotic, if you will. Because vampires used to do that. But have hypnosis, and they used to turn into bats. They weren't just sexy and sparkly and shirtless. So he's got those traits, but he's described as being a sort of intimidating, frightening older man in the book, Bram Stoker's original. It's after he's fed, he seems to have this life about him. He seems to be a lot more exuberant and have a bit more of a youthful glow to him. And the longer he goes without feeding, the more frightening his visage becomes. Now, they went, okay, we could do that, but this is the 1930s. We're spending all the money on tap shoes for other movies. So, because all people were doing at this point. They just started putting sound in films, so all of a sudden everyone was singing.
Everyone tap dance.
That's pretty much it. As soon as the talkies happened, it was like, right, everything's going to have a big musical number. Everyone's going to tap dance and sing. We're going to put on a show. And then the horror movies came along in the 30s and went, no, we're gonna frighten people instead. We're gonna have a big old scare. But they were like, we can't keep doing this, so we need to settle on a look. They go to Broadway and they see the stage version of Dracula that was currently on, starring non-English speaking actor. He was one of those people who learned his lines phonetically.
Oh, wow.
Bela Lugosi in the role, and that version had settled on making Dracula have the look we all know when we think of Dracula.
Grandpa Monster.
the look we all know as Dracula, not Krampus. The slick back hair, the fine suits, the cloak, sometimes a big cape with a big collar. Like the sort of that Transylvanian charm, like he's a sophisticated, like rich gent. He's like the lord of the land, like the king of the town. Like he's got that kind of status. It's like, oh yes, no, you must meet. I mean, Count. There you go. You must meet the Count. You must meet Count Dracula. He's very charming. He's at the ball tomorrow. I shall be sure to introduce you to him. And you get this sense in the book and in the original movie that a lot of the people living there know there's something about this person. Because people go up to that castle and they don't come back.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's pleasant. He's charming. He's a really sort of, he's very well read. He's poetic. He's romantic. And this is, of course, what happens to like Lucy and Mina in the original story. Like, they completely fall under his thrall. Because this version is terrifying. Because he's a suave motherfucker. Like, all these other things are horrible to look at. You see the alien, you try and run a mile. You see someone's stomach burst open and eat another dude's hand, you're like, I'm getting out of this room. You see Dracula, and whether he's using his powers or not, you're like, you know what? You're alright, mate.
He's a cool motherfucker.
You're a cool guy. Do you know what? I will hang out with you tonight. I'll bring this bottle of wine back to the castle, we'll play some bridge. It'll be great. And the next day you're found in a river with 2 puncture holes in your neck and you're shriveled up. And suddenly he's looking a little bit more peaky.
Did you get lucky last night, Count? Why, yes, I did.
I'm not the one to say. Now, there's
I
two.
never kiss and tell.
There's 2 versions of that movie. One version. Two
Oh, yes.
There's 2 versions of that movie. They filmed during the day. They filmed the American release flick, and then at night, because I think it was a co-production with a Spanish film studio. And Bela Lugosi spoke Spanish and everything. I think he was Spanish. I need to check. on that.
I'll look it up for you like you can.
But obviously, he has the affected Transylvanian kind of accent and everything.
Yeah.
They made a Spanish language version of the movie that they would shoot on alternate nights on the same set with different actors, apart from Bela Lugosi, who was the Dracula in both versions. So that dude worked like crazy.
He was Hungarian.
There we are. Right, he worked like crazy on that film because he was making 2 versions of it at the same time. Not sound like a wanky pretentious film person, but I do tend to tell that the Spanish version is slightly better. But that's because there was a different vision being brought to it by that director, and it didn't have the sort of the Hollywood sensibility of, like, we're going to make a big picture, see? They were like, we're going to make something that will haunt people's nightmares.
Oh, yeah, good looking
forever. He's a handsome dude, and he wasn't like a young spring chicken when he started. He had that older guy kind of look to him already. But he'd honed it to perfection on the stage. So imagine having a lot of people in a theatre, a public space where you're there and they can see you, a man, on the stage. You're just a mortal dude in a costume. People were frightened of him. They were terrified by this portrayal. You've honed it that much that they've gone, do you know what? We're just going to put you straight into the film. Like, you are Dracula. No Dracula has come close to being as sort of defining as his since.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of that is down
great
to
movie vampires, but no other great movie Dracula. Well,
yeah,
good,
people have played Dracula well, but but even so, like, you watch the Gary Oldman one and you go like, I mean, it's cool and interesting, the designs and everything, but like, I sort of almost wish he was a bit, slick back hair, maybe the cape, sort of the. It feels odd when you don't see that version of that character anymore. He defined it. Parodied way too much since. There's a whole thing on Cinemassacre recently talking about, like, because George Rockwell Schmidt had been talking about the Streisand effect.
Yeah.
Cinemassacre were doing a similar thing about where things people remember certain lines from movies or certain scenes that don't actually exist, or it's or the slight versions of lines that are slightly odd. Like you said, that, for example, the Fonz. There's no episode of Happy Days where the Fonz goes with both of his thumbs out ever. And yet, that's what everyone remembers. But he never did. The only time Henry Winkler ever did that in a show, on camera, in character, was in a Sesame Street sketch. That is the only time he ever did that as the Fonz. So, unless a whole generation of kids remember that one moment, it's just this weird thing that people have kind of decided happened.
That is very strange.
It is strange. But Dracula, for some reason at some point, everyone decided that Dracula goes, bleh. And he never did. Now, I am guilty as much as the next man of doing that. In fact, I'm not the only one, am I? Who else in this house goes, bleh?
Bleh.
See?
Dracula.
Bleh. Dracula's here, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh.
Dracula's on the podcast.
Don't bite me!
Dracula, I've just voted you as...
Oh,
I've
I've
just,
just eaten, it's fine.
I've just voted you as my number one movie monster.
Oh,
How does that make
good,
you feel?
good. Feels good. I'm very proud, thank you.
Oh, nice.
A
So,
little hungry, but you know.
oh, okay. What are you doing nowadays? What's your...
Well, you know, I've had a part-time job at, Safeways.
Oh, they have. Do they have them in Transylvania?
They do, yes.
Oh,
It's the only place they
We're
still
not
have
up with the
Safeways.
times. We still have iPhone 4.
oh, you still use that?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for dropping by, Dracula.
No problem.
Oh, he said it. He said it.
Just for you.
Just for oh, you got two. Goodbye, Dracula. Oh, he just turned into a bat and flew away. Oh, how was that for a special guest
We
appearance?
get the best guests on this podcast.
We get them all, baby. So Dracula's my number one movie monster because he's one of the classics. He's a class act. He's one of the classics. He's terrifying, but I'm going specifically with the Bela Lugosi, OG style dude who will charm you into his castle and then suck the blood out of your veins.
Lovely man, great at pies.
Now, the surprise I had planned for you, sir,
Uh-oh.
is a little in jeopardy because we both had a similar movie monster. Albeit we had different versions. I went for the Xenomorph from Alien. You went for the Xenomorphs from Aliens. But I want you to now randomly pick on this last sheet of paper. I want you to randomly pick one of your runner-up monsters. Don't think about it. It's the first one that comes to mind. Say it out loud. 3, 2, 1, go.
Tremors.
Tremors. So the big old worms from Tremors. Write that down on this piece of paper. See, as we've been going, I've been writing down movie monsters on my pieces of paper, as has Matt, and I've been putting them into a tiny hat about it. I've been sneaking him away, Matt, into a little hat full of dreams. Did you know that?
Sneaking him away.
Sneaking him away like you read about in Sneaks Them Away magazine.
Sneaking him away into my long and deep gullet.
Into my loins, good sir.
Oh, lovely lines.
Because what is a chat about movie monsters without a bit of a brawl involved? So we both picked 3.
Oh!
We both picked 3 movie monsters, albeit although one was the same. So now we've added the Tremors worms into the mix.
Okay.
I have put all 6
All right.
folded up into this here hat. Now, what's going to happen
I like it.
is we're going to have 3 rounds.
All right.
We're going to have a bit of a fantasy football monster mash here. You're gonna pick one out.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on, let's start to stick together. You're gonna pick one out. I'm gonna pick one out. Whoever we get, that's who is in the tradition of, Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, Alien versus Predator, Freddy versus Jason. That's who's facing off. We have to decide who wins in this fight of the movie monsters. And considering our picks, this is going to be a pretty freaking weird one.
Okay, I'm gonna.
So if you would like to put your hand in first, don't show me who you've got yet. You definitely got one.
I've got one.
Okay, I'll put my hand in. Little sound effect there for the viewers who can see us for some reason. Okay, there we go. Right. Unfold yours first, and I'll unfold mine. This monster mash monster matchup is a fight between
Graboids from Tremors.
and Dracula.
Oh no!
Okay, well, let's get started.
They're both primarily nocturnal.
Yes, so they're clear to show up on the same battlefield.
However,
Tremors can show up the Tremors. I'm calling them the Tremors.
The
The
Tremors.
Tremors can show up during the day.
They can show up during the day, but they are subterranean.
They're also not beautiful ladies or countesses who can be seduced into bed.
And their blood is their blood is orange.
So he's not going to feast off of them.
I don't think he's going to feast off of them.
But he could. I mean, Dracula is supernaturally strong, even in that version.
He is supernaturally strong.
So he could possibly, one popped out the ground, he could punch right through it, possibly.
He can fly.
But then he'd dirty his suit.
He would dirty his suit. He can fly, though.
Yeah, he can.
So he could just avoid them completely because they pick up vibrations.
In that version, he turns into a bat to fly, so he'd have to be a bat. But avoiding them is far, far removed from a battle, good sir.
Yes, exactly.
That's and also
he could-
Dracula can only be killed with a stake through the heart in that original iteration. That's the only way you can kill him. You could cut him up and everything, but the whole lore of this demon living inside a man's body is that somehow he will manifest
He
again.
could be consumed, but would come back.
Yeah, so I mean, they'd have to be. Can the graboids wield a sharp, pointy stick with any dexterity or precision?
I've not seen the sequels, but certainly in the first one, they have no intelligence or tool usage. I tell you what, though, I know Dracula can win this because I know he can just do what Kevin Bacon does in Tremors.
Cut foot loose.
No, Footloose. No, the way he beats the big worm at the end of that movie, right?
Yeah.
Is he drives his car,
Mm-hmm.
right, off a cliff. He jumps out of it. But, of course, the creature keeps following the vibrations of the car. So it just fucking comes out the side of the cliff and falls to its death. So Dracula could do that. He could be running to the to the edge of a cliff. And he'll get to the end and turn into a bat and fly off, and the fucking
worm
comes out of the side of the cliff. Because apparently he doesn't know where the end of the cliff is. And just fucking.
But it does mean he has to have an at least 90-minute adventure with a bunch of locals first to come to the conclusion that they follow vibrations.
Yeah.
I love that. It's like, I just came to the gas station to pick up some spare blood. Lucas.
He's in town for a bite to eat.
Oh!
He's just stopped off.
You are the greatest monster of them all.
Stopped off for a roadside snack.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Just eating a trucker.
And this fucking worm comes along and starts nicking all his food.
Yes, he'd be territorial.
He would be
because
territorial.
he'd be running out of his food source, especially if there is a young, sexy lady in danger. Because he's gonna be like, "I was saving her for dessert."
Yeah, there's always going to be a young sexy.
Because this
lady
is
in
Suave
danger.
Bela Lugosi Dracula. This
And
is
this
like,
is-
yes, I could eat anybody, but I'm going to eat her after I have danced with her and dined her and wooed her.
But he's not going to need to do much of that because we're talking about like fucking backwoods America.
You talk real pretty like.
There's going to be one like beauty queen who's going to be able to
Look into my eyes. Now talk properly.
No. We'll do it worse, simple.
Repeat after me. The life of the wife.
The rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain.
Which causes vibrations, distracting the worm creatures
Yes.
beneath the soil. So we think Dracula would win it. His smarts would eventually win the day.
There's no...
And the graboid's lack of hands to wield a small, sharp-pointed stick.
They could eat him. But, like, if that's not going to kill him, then
Yeah, that's true.
he's just going to... But they could eat him, and then he does an Old Man Logan and busts out of the inside of him when he comes back together, when he heals.
Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah, if that's how he comes back with his demon things.
Yeah.
I don't know what he does.
Well, yeah, it's that in that original film, it's all focused on the legend says the only way you can kill him is a stake through the heart. So we have to take that as the ground rule. That's the only way you can kill him.
Boom.
Boom! Dracula beats
has
the
it.
graboids.
Dracula has it.
Bye. Graboids there. They're gone. So Dracula remains in the arena.
Oh, we're doing a ladder.
Oh yeah, and then we've got
Alright,
three.
alright,
So you
alright.
can probably see where this is going mathematically. But let's make sure these are separated because they're starting to stick to each other. Okay, we've got 4 more. Matthew Watson, stick your hand into the hat of dreams. Don't let it bite you. And I'll stick mine in. Okay.
Is the Hat of Dreams one of your runners up?
Yes, it's next to the cloak of invisibility.
What about Evil Bong?
No. Ginger Dead Man.
Yeah.
Right, I'll go first.
Puppet Master.
No! Right. Oh, God. So, round 2. Fucking hell. We're just going to chuck in all the small creatures.
Demonic Toys.
Chucky! Let's throw
I'm
him.
surprised Chucky wasn't in your top 3.
Well, I don't think of him... well, he's a monster, but he's a man trapped in something.
He's a monster.
He is. Yeah, and again, you invite him into your home.
Tell me which one it is.
Tell me, Don Miguel. This next round is a matchup between the Xenomorph from Alien and
Bruce the Shark from Jaws.
Bruce the Shark from Jaws. Oh, yes, please. Okay. Okay, how the hell does this go?
Okay.
Well, the alien... I don't know if the alien can swim. because we never see it. Now,
Can in Resurrection.
we know in Resurrection, but based on the McFarlane toys, they're a slightly funkier version with bigger like fins for feet and tail.
I think they're humanoid, so I think they were fairly adaptable.
Probably, I mean, the head's streamlined, so he can
they
doggy.
can-
Make a doggy paddle at least.
The one comes up from the water in Aliens in the
Yeah,
sewers and snatches
with
him
Newt,
in.
that really
that could have
terrifying
just been
shot.
crawling along the thing.
Along the what? Sorry.
Could have been crawling along the because she's standing up in the water.
The best part about this is you're just acting it out in front of me. Then
Crawling
crawling
along
along.
what do we call it? The not the seafloor because it's a sewer, but she's standing up in the water, so it can't be more than like 2 feet deep because she's only what 3.5 feet tall.
Yeah, tiny Newt,
She's
tiny
a
Newt,
small girl,
with her tiny little knees.
a tiny little doll head. He just has a doll that's just a head.
That's true. It's fucking creepy when you think about it. So meats and treats.
So I think
The
xenomorphs can
aliens,
swim.
yeah, if not swim, at least traverse through the water in a way that doesn't end up with them just going flopping their arms
is this
around.
a single xenomorph?
Yeah, this is a single xenomorph. Let's say Ridley Scott, 79.
Well, I think you have to answer 2 basic questions.
do goggles fit over its skull eye holes?
No. 1, are the shark's teeth capable of penetrating an alien's carapace?
Oh,
Because it is resistant to small
I'd
arms
say
fire.
yes, because it is resistant to small arms fire, but also isn't like the force of a great white shark's jaw. Keeping in mind it's got like 3 rows of those teeth.
Yeah.
Like, isn't the force of that meant to be like the same force as like a car landing on you from a short height? Like, they're meant to clamp down in a way that just slices through meat and bone.
I would have thought so.
So it could probably penetrate the alien, but would it want to penetrate the alien?
Well, that's the next question.
Because if it's in the water, the acid might be diluted a bit. It could fizzle out a little in the salty, salty deep.
It does oxygenate rather quickly.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Oh.
But
Yeah.
would the seawater be enough
To douse
to
it.
stop it from just melting the shark's head off?
Now the shark could, the shark could trap it on a boat, and have that boat just sink, and eventually the xenomorph drown. Because I assume that the xenomorphs don't need oxygen.
They can
But I
exist in a vacuum.
imagine they could fill with enough water that they would be grounded, like it could be held
one
down.
thing, yes.
Possibly. It's not really got a stomach per se. They don't eat, so
Well, they must eat. They do eat.
not necessarily.
They do eat.
Okay, they do eat, but
They must eat.
do they poop? So scenario: the alien is fishing. It's a Sunday. He's on a long week work week.
Is he wearing a hat?
He is wearing a tiny
Which
hat.
end of his head is he,
with a
is he
couple-
wearing it on?
He's wearing a very long banana-shaped hat. A wicker banana hat.
There is a version of, the how does a dog wear pants thing? There is a version of there out for the how does an alien wear a hat?
It's like, what end does it go on?
Or is it just a big long one?
I think we give him a big a banana-shaped, like, really long wicker hat.
Is it a tiny one that goes on the inner jaw?
No, because the inner jaw is exclusively used on fishing occasions to crack open a beer.
Okay.
So it's
But
got...
which mouth drinks the beer?
Oh God!
Mouthception!
No. It's like a Corona Rita. Like, one mouth has the beer, the other mouth has the margarita. Yes, it's a Corona Rita. Sue me. So
Fucking monster,
they serve them at Bubba Gump's in the States.
Oh,
It's really
God.
nice. So he's fishing. He's got his feet up. He's got a tub of bait. He's just throwing in dead chestburster fetuses on the line. And Bruce swims along, and suddenly he's like edging for a fight, squaring up. He's like, "Come on, mate. You think you got teeth, son?
You think you got teeth?
You call that a set of teeth?
I've got three. That's a
sets
set
of
of teeth.
All the teeth you can eat, but don't eat me because I'm going to eat you, you bastard." Well, that's the thing. Ultimately, Jaws can wreck shit, but 90% of the time he's wrecking shit and then eating the people he's terrorizing.
Yeah.
Or taking a bite. He's gonna get hurt, I think. He's gonna get hurt by the alien. Like, even if the water's there, unless he's biting him, then swimming away, then biting him and then swimming away. If he's keeping clamped on, he's gonna burn his teeth off.
I think there's no way the shark can take down the alien without taking himself down.
That's true.
Like, he's...
So it'd be a close one, but even then, whose victory is it, really? Because the alien's blood is acidic because it's like another one of their defences. It's like, if you hurt us, you'll kill... It's like a bee. It's like, I'm going to go out and take you out with me. If you kill me, everything that explodes from my insides is going to kill you. So it's a tough one. It's a toughie.
We need a tiebreaker is what we need.
We do.
Because they're both dead. Like, they're both dying.
They both killed each
They're
other.
both going to die. The shark is going to take a big chunk out of the alien and kill the alien.
They're both
And
completely
then
snapped.
its face is going to melt off.
God, you're
Like,
right.
that's what's going to happen.
You're right.
So who's the victor
right.
in that situation?
Good question. I think the victim be Yar. I don't know what that means. I think the ultimate victim is gonna be Jaws.
Yeah.
I think here because the xenomorph would be dying with intent.
I think there's more chance of like Jaws biting off a leg or an arm
Yeah.
and still getting his face melted off, and the alien's like, "Oh, I've got one less limb, but I'm a fucking alien. Like, I don't care." So what?
Oh God. So xenomorph.
Xenomorph.
Like, yeah. I think Bruce is very. I think Bruce nobly is defeated because he leaves in a blaze of glory.
Oh, he does leave. Well, Blaze not so much. More like a thick soup of glory.
Oh. Right, that leaves just two movie monsters.
Oh,
so
no.
no point shuffling. Let's take one each. See who we got.
All
we know
right.
who it be. So the final matchup, as it stands, is a fight betwixt
Gremlins
and the Thing.
Oh my!
Now I didn't see this pair up coming. Like when we were saying them all out loud, I was like, okay, the Thing's going to be a tough one, but the Thing would if you put the Thing up against Dracula, I think the Thing wins. Because demon or no, the Thing could probably use him in some way. Or like use enough of his flesh to kind of become a thing.
It depends.
Like the demon could possibly live on in the Thing, but it's no longer the demon in the human body that it claimed. So it's already changed the game. The Thing, I think the Thing could beat the Xenomorph because again, it's like the whole restructuring of DNA kind of thing. Like it could find a
doesn't
way.
so much beat them; it just becomes them.
Yeah. But what if it's trying to become several hundred small monsters?
It's already several thousand small monsters.
Yeah. What's not to say these guys won't accept it and just go, okay, this'll be fun. Like,
well, I think
I think it would be a victory for the Thing, but it'd be almost kind of hollow in that the Gremlins have just gone, yeah, okay. But you saw what happened to them in the second one where they all start mutating in the lab. They're just pissing themselves.
I think that's
like
kind of
laughing at each other. Like one of them's got like freakishly long dead legs. The other one becomes a bat, and there's like a guy who becomes a living vegetable. And they're just wetting themselves, laughing. They're loving it.
I think you have to take out the idea. So anything Thing goes up against,
Yeah.
it's going to be able to assimilate
Yes.
if it can touch it, if it can keep hold of it. So that's a given.
Yeah. And I think it's going to get hold of at least a few Gremlins because they wouldn't be able to resist getting close and taking the piss or trying to hurt it.
The question
Or dancing with it to Christmas music. Feeding it a gingerbread man.
could it just kill the Gremlins outright? Could the Gremlins kill the Thing?
I mean, like you say, it can assimilate and spread, but it is still essentially one entity, isn't it?
The way it's explained in the film is that each cell becomes an individual entity unto itself that works part of a greater whole.
Okay.
That's because the test they come up with, the blood test,
Yeah.
is they figure that one cell
Mhm.
will break rank with the rest of it
Yeah.
in terms of self-preservation.
Yes.
So you put a hot needle in a
Yeah.
blood sample, and it goes.
It goes, oh shit!
Yeah.
and reacts to it.
So when the person you got the blood sample from as a thing is maintaining cover,
Yeah.
but their blood gives them away.
So, oh shit. So when it assimilates you, like, you'll know this better than I will. When it assimilates you, for example, does it have to get in through an opening? Does it have to get in through, say, saliva or blood?
It's never made clear.
Okay, right.
The way what you see happen, the only time you see it happen in the film, it tries to wrap either the dog or the one human you see it try and assimilate.
Mm-hmm.
It wraps them up.
And like this
In tentacles,
sort of fleshy
and it sort of
tendrils.
looks like it's devouring them, digesting them somehow.
Yeah.
There's one really creepy moment where you see one of the people grab another one by the face.
Yeah.
And then you cut back and his hands are just in the skin.
Yeah.
So they've already started to mould together. You see more of it in the prequel, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
when you see the two-faced things.
yeah,
and stuff like that.
That is horrific.
And just so sort of as soon as it touches you, then it's got that connection, and then the flesh becomes liquid and plastic, and you can just it's there. It's in part of you, and you know one cell. That's enough. That's enough to.
I think that'd be it. So it's not a case of could the gremlins overpower it. It's a case of how many gremlins will it assimilate before the original thing they've surrounded is overwhelmed.
Yeah.
No matter what, a bunch of those gremlins are then going to walk away being like, well, I feel a bit funny. I think the thing wins, even in this case. Even though it's like this is the most overwhelming force out of the ones in our batch that it could contend with, I think it wins.
I think it's a case of intelligence. I don't think the gremlins have the intelligence to.
I mean, they are wily and they are devious, but they wouldn't figure out how it works. You're right. They wouldn't figure out a way to defeat it. Their solution would just be keep going at it,
and then it just makes it stronger.
Yeah.
Every gremlin it assimilates makes it stronger.
Yeah, of course. And then you've got an army of gremlin things.
Or one enormous gremlin thing.
Oh, that'd be amazing. Like, just go for a full Godzilla style sequence.
A wave of gremlins. How's that for a wave of mutilation?
Give me the gremlin card.
Give me that gremlin
It's
card.
going. Gremlins lose. True the thing. So, for shits and giggles, just before we get to the emails, let's have a little gander, shall we? We have the Xenomorph, the Thing, and the Blur. We throw these guys. Let's go by the podcast, The Weekly Planet, have a versus thing ahead that they do once in a blue moon, where they basically say the terms of
football
this.
Field.
The terms of this: no weapons unless they have a signature weapon that they are always with.
Yeah.
No outside intervening force, no allies. Like if you had Han Solo, you can't have Chewbacca rock up. Like it's got to be Han Solo. Football field, separate ends, or in this case, 3 different parts of the field. They're just legging at each other.
They instantly appear and they perceive the other as a threat.
Yeah, it's the Beyonder thing of, you must now fight! It was like, oh shit, okay!
Yeah.
That is all you got to go off. So we've got the Thing, which I suppose when it arrives, it'd just look like whatever it looks like at that point.
Yeah.
Let's say a dog. Let's go for the dog. Because that's how the film starts, with the dog and everything. So the Thing appears as a dog. The Xenomorph appears, I suppose, as a Xenomorph. Let's not go to facehugger, that'd be cheating a bit, really, wouldn't it?
Yeah, let's go with
And Dracula rocks up in a horse-drawn carriage and just steps out the back. It's a fucking preposterous mental image already.
Also, it's night, obviously.
Yeah, that's
Can't
true.
use a daylight thing on Dracula.
That's true. Yes, it's nighttime. Or they've just got a big roof on the stadium, and they've promised him. The janitor's promised him they're not going to open it. Won't open. He's like, okay, blah. But just in case, in his pocket, he's got one of those little umbrellas that Gary Oldman's Dracula has.
Yeah.
So he's ready.
Can he go out in sunlight anyway in the book?
I don't believe he can. No, I think he goes out in daylight at one point, at like either dusk or dawn. But he is under an umbrella,
A parasol.
a parasol and a top hat and stuff. So it sort of just looks like he's keeping shaded and everything.
Fancy bastard.
Fancy schmancy bastard. So they're all looking at each other. Who wins? I have no freaking idea off the top of my head. Well, here's a thought. Something's just hit me.
Yeah.
Could Dracula sire the Thing? How quick does vampirism take hold of the cells?
Would feeding on the Thing infect Dracula?
Possibly, but if he's doing it with the intent to turn the Thing into a vampire, then that vampire is instantly subservient to the one who sired them.
Isn't it already?
That's what the Brides of Dracula are about. Like they're his devoted,
Yeah.
his devoted harem, basically. So if he bit the thing, if he was able to do it, say if the vampirism began instantly the moment his intention was clear, that dog leaps at him. If he gets his teeth in really quick, would the thing become a vampire thing and be like, "Yeah, I'm his bitch. I do his bidding now." Like that'd be a freaky idea. And then they gang up and just kill the xenomorph. Like I'm sure the thing could, because I think the thing could overwhelm the xenomorph. I think it could do that.
Yeah, I don't think there's enough blood in the xenomorph to completely destroy all of the biomass of the thing.
But also, like, it could get in there and
it
begin
could
assimilate it and turn it. So it just becomes, this is just what the thing's like. And
and it can make its skin resistant to acid in the same way that a xenomorph is.
Yeah, but at the same time, like say, if the thing, the moment Dracula gets his teeth in, no matter how quick the process is, if that's all it needs, a bit of the thing gets into Dracula's mouth, so a bit breaks off, and that starts to assimilate him. So even though the initial body, like the dog, that is probably now at this point a flailing mass of tendrils and legs, reeling in pain from a neck bite, and then it calms down and it's like, oh, I'm a vampire now. Even if that happens, what's not to say the bit that breaks off in Dracula's mouth, like, gets stuck in his teeth, assimilates him, so it's now a vampire thing and a vampire thing.
Yeah, I think that is what happened.
And one of them is naturally subservient to the other because of the vampire curse, but they've both got the same intent anyway.
I don't think that's a... I think they just become a thing. They just become a vampire thing. They become a Dracula thing.
Blah! They just walk around going, blah!
Yeah, I think they sort of...
I don't want to spend the rest of the winter tied to this fucking blah!
I think they
tied to this fucking coffin!
I think the assimilation of the thing and the assimilation of the vampire curse, because it's supernatural, sort of cancel each other out or work in harmony. I'm tempted to give this one to Dracula because
blah.
Even if he does become a thing, he's still going to be Dracula.
Yes, yeah.
And I think supernatural trumps biology every time.
Yeah, and again,
if
like
that demon's still in the driving seat,
it's still in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Even if the thing assimilated him somehow, the demon is in there because, like you say, it's a supernatural element. And unless the thing stabs him through the chest with a stake, he's still alive somewhere in there. So he could lie in wait. There could be a way that he lies in wait, and the demon eventually takes hold of the body itself. Yeah.
I think Dracula. I think Dracula becomes the thing.
Oh my god! And then they stick a collar and a lead on the xenomorph. No, screw that. It doesn't become the pet. They give it a suit and a really long top hat.
And that gets...
They teach it to hold the reins of the carriage.
Yeah, and it does the
and
carriage.
Then the Dracula thing heads back to Transylvania with his xenomorph butler. Xenomorph becomes Renfield, and they head back to Transylvania to claim everything.
I'm happy with this conclusion.
I am pitching this movie to Hollywood right now.
Dracula versus the alien versus the thing. I'm surprised Dark Horse hasn't already done it.
Versus Ash.
The Dark Horse did some Thing comics. They're not good.
I've seen some of them.
Yes.
The Top the Fourth Wall covered a couple of them. It's like, oh,
they're
God.
not good.
Oh God! Well, that was our big monster mash, ladies and gentlemen.
Christ, what have we done?
Terrible things.
What have we wrought?
Horrors.
The microphone.
Horrors, like out of survival. I've got to punch it so it can't tell anyone this horrific tale. Before we go, we're going to read a couple of emails, but just to reiterate, next week, send in a couple of emails, peeps. bigdamncontact@gmail.com. Let us know who your favourite movie monster is, and we'll bring a few of them up next week just to see if we matched at all. We won't face them off. You can do that in your own imagination, because we got better things to talk about in it. Probably. I don't know.
Have we, though?
It's not next week yet. We might have jack shit to talk about.
Well, I imagine we'll be talking about the Mummy next week.
Well, yeah. Well. Ha ha!
If it bears worth talking about, let's find out.
Well,
We'll find out.
We'll find out. We could have another Pirates on our hands. Speaking of rum buggers, who's emailed in?
Oh no! Don't archive the email, Google. I want to read it.
Google was the true monster here. It couldn't even say chip.
Monty!
Tom Monty, Monty, Mum Monty, Tom Monty, Monty, Mum Monty. Go for it. But, because I desperately need a piss, I want this email read at twice the speed with a slightly happier inflection. I think Tom's deserved some happiness. He's earned it after all this time.
Okay.
Oh, that's brilliant! Okay, go on.
Oh God, my tablet's turned off.
Oh.
BDC questions. Chris and Matt, happy 50th episode. Doctor Who was a bit shite, wasn't it? They had 3 parts to tell this story, and it felt really rushed, especially towards the end. And if they're going to use Missy, at least make it worthwhile. And Chris, you were right about not getting an insight as to what Monk's intentions were. What a waste of time! I can't see myself bothering with this story again. I really hope John Sim can save this series, or at least make it memorable. What are your thoughts on the Empress of Mars Next Time trailer? I also think the Series 10 Next Time trailer editing team are drunk. Did you notice the Cyberman theme? Oh, what are your
I did! That really annoyed me, actually.
Well, Murray Gold didn't have enough time to do an Ice Warrior theme. What are your favourite tracks from the entire Murray Gold Doctor Who soundtrack? If you were to have a drink with one of the 13 Doctor Who actors, living or dead, who would it be, and what would you talk about? Which previous companion other than Clara and Asbel and Nardo do you think would work best as 12's companion, and why? And my now weekly Breaking Bad question. Throughout the series, what is your favourite moment? See you later, Tom Monty.
Tom Monty! Sounds like an Uzi at the end there.
Yeah. Alright, so.
First question.
Empress of Mars thoughts.
I think it looks... I don't know. I don't think it looks amazing visually. I want it to be great, because I do love the Ice Warriors. But, meh.
Looks alright. Bit of a John Carter thing going on with the idea of, like, Victorian soldiers on Mars. So,
should we touch on Lie of the Land really quickly as well, like the Doctor Who episode this week?
Well, it's like I said last week, I was waiting for Lie of the Land to see if it paid off all the stuff that was set up in Pyramid of the World, and it completely failed to do any of that shit. So fuck Lie of the Land.
I hated it.
It was just
I hated it so much.
I thought we started this series.
He can
so
use
well,
regeneration energy like willy nilly apparently. So why didn't he?
That was like.
So
what?
why didn't he heal his eyes 2 episodes ago?
Don't.
Yeah.
Don't.
Instead, he drove his friend to shooting him, and then was like, "Oh, it was a joke." Right, moving on.
So stupid. So stupid.
The show's now doing this thing of going like, "These two, they're the ultimate team. They're the best of friends." It's like, no, we were going to get that, and then you stopped doing it for some reason, and now it's the John Watson Sherlock thing now again of like, oh, these two, they're like. They're the ultimate team. Like, you two can't be apart. And it's like, you've never shown us any examples to show that they are best friends, really. You just told us that they're best friends repeatedly. Yeah. We got some great time with Bill and the Doctor in the first few episodes, but that was all one continuous story taking place over, like, a day and a half. They've not bonded more than a day and a half on screen. So, bullshit. I hated it. And the monks were pointless. The monks were shit versions of... Well, another shit version of... essentially the Silence, the Toclophane, and the whole what do you call it? They were crap thought police, basically.
Yeah.
And what was them taking over? What was the point in it?
Poorly defined monsters with
there was
poorly
no
defined
point.
motivations.
They had no lines in Lie of the Land. They
Yeah.
didn't speak once.
Yep.
We didn't learn anything about them. So it was like we predicted last week, where we said like it'll end up being like, what did they want? I guess we'll never know. They never said that, but that's basically what happened. We'll never know what they wanted, other than put up some statues and made everyone think they'd been around a bit longer.
And I guess we'll never care. Favourite tracks from Murray Gold's Doctor Who oeuvre?
Ooh, the Doctors and Roses themes from Series 1, which is like the different versions of like, ooh.
Yeah, definitely.
For the punch that it has at that moment, and I've seen it live a couple of times at Valche DM, which is the big version of that tune from The End of Time, Part 2. Performed live, that is gorgeous to see.
I'll bet.
I've got a soft spot for Matt Smith's I Am the Doctor theme.
That's probably my favourite.
Especially when it was used for him and not used as Next Time trailers for like 2 series of Capaldi stuff.
Yeah.
Amy's theme's really nice. And the End of the World suite, like from episode 2 of 2005.
Yeah.
Some really nice stuff in there.
Some lovely moments.
That first series is great because it's mostly Maury Gold just in his bedroom with
Yeah.
like a keyboard and some stuff on his computer, and then they got access to like a choir and some orchestral stuff for like the Dalek thing. Dun 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 dun. Like they raised the stakes.
That was cool.
So that stuff for me. And the stuff he did with the little collaborations with Neil Hannon on the couple of songs that are on the earlier soundtracks.
Yeah.
Love Don't Roam and oh god, what's the other one? Song for 10.
Yeah.
They're quite good.
Yeah, quite good. Yes.
So, yes.
Yes, I'm happy with those.
Yeah.
Drink with any of the 13 Doctor Who actors.
Alive or dead.
Who and what would you chat about?
Eccleston, I just want to chat to him about acting in general, because it seems like that's his biggest passion. I'd just be like, just tell me tales, Chris. Tell me of the industry. Tell me what it's like. Tell me what parts you like to play. Tell me, Chris. Tell me. I wouldn't even ask him like, why did you leave? I'm not fucked. I just want to talk to him about acting.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think Tom's a close like third.
If you could get him to make sense for more than 2 minutes at a time.
I'd love to talk to John Pertwee.
Oh.
Because it'd probably end with him going, let's have another drink at my Spanish villa.
What a lad.
Let's fly out
What
in
an
my
absolute
helicopter,
lad.
go to my Spanish villa and just like...
I'll fly you out
Yeah.
in my helicopter.
Come along, Matthew.
After 3 bottles of wine.
Care for another... care for another brandy? Yes, yeah, alright, yeah, John.
Absolutely, John.
Will you dress as Doctor Who, John? Yes, I shall. That's smashing, John.
He wasn't in costume, that's just how John Pertwee dressed.
Oh god, that you could play drunken Mad Libs with Wurzel Gummidge.
I would actually really like to have a drink with Peter Capaldi, because I hear he's a stand-up bloke.
Yeah.
And I'd chat to him about politics.
Nice, good
A
shout.
friend of mine is a member of the Labour Party. She's running for MP in her home constituency, and she was at a hustings.
Yeah.
And Peter Capaldi was there.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Pretty cool. Pretty fucking cool.
Pretty fucking cool, man.
Previous companion. Who out of the previous companions? Who do you think would have worked well as 12's companion?
Our previous companions, I think you'd have to look at the modern era really to sort of draw the immediate comparisons. So perhaps I don't know. Martha, it'd be nice to see him with, because it'd be nice to see what her relationship with the Doctor who wasn't pining for someone would be like instead. Do you know what I mean? It's like he would see the brilliance of her and be like, right, we're having adventures, come with me. Do you know what I mean? It'd be nice to see her get treated sort of better, if that makes any sense. But failing that, dip into the original run. Perry, if she could put up with the 6th Doctor, she could straighten the 12th one out.
Donna,
well, yeah, she'd give him a clip round the ear,
Yeah.
actually.
I think they'd be great together. Because she wouldn't take any of his shit. But
No, I just want a mate.
but he'd also be completely exasperated at the fact that she's just daft.
Yeah.
Not thick.
No, just daft.
Daft.
That would be a good one.
Breaking Bad question, what's the favourite moment of the series?
It's a bit cliche, but when Bryan Cranston's just stood there over Kristen Ritter and he doesn't do anything.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Doesn't do anything to stop what's happening at that moment. And because that's one of the earliest bits where you're like, oh my god, I'm starting to see what he's capable of. Like he's allowing a horrible thing to happen because it'll cover him and emotionally manipulate his friend into like coming back to him and everything. It's like, oh man, that's horrible. How about you?
Hank's final moments.
Oh,
Defiant to the end.
yeah, and the placing of it,
Yeah.
like 5 minutes into a story,
Yeah.
and you're like, what?
Because you know it's coming.
Well, that's the thing. The last one
Like,
ends
you know
with
that's
the last
happening.
one ends with it not happening, and you think, oh my god, I thought that the end of this episode was going to be that.
But
So,
no.
so you sort of like, you know that nothing good's going to come out of it, but you kind of still think after watching the previous ep, maybe there's a chance he's going to get out of this. Then, like if they've made it, no, 5 minutes in, boom. The moment that episode starts, you're like, no, this isn't going the way I hope it's going to go. God, it's so good. That and when Gus and that when they poison his former, well, it's still his employer technically.
Oh,
isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah.
Because there's something, it's horrible, but there's something satisfying about that after you'd seen the original flashback, and you go, this guy's a monster, but I wouldn't wish that to happen to anyone. Like, so seeing him get his revenge was satisfying.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
God, it's a great show.
Final email of the week.
Oh, baby!
From views we may or may not endorse. It's your favourite and mine. It's my second favourite and your third favourite. Maybe a runner-up. Movie monster of all time, Lewis Christian.
I knew you were going with that as well. Oh god.
Hey guys.
Hello.
I literally can't be arsed.
Don't you dare use that word.
Literally can't be arsed. Discussing the latest episode, so rather than a review of the usual questions, I thought, in light of a plot point in Lie of the Land, I'd instead propose a theory, and I'd love to get your thoughts on it. So, a theory. Pure speculation. By me. John Sim's return.
Oh my god.
He finds out that his successor is turning good. He doesn't like that, so he tries to turn her back to chaos and evil. It's the final test. And with the basement cold turkey therapy, the vault has worked for Missy. Missy! Right when it seems like Missy's turned evil again and goes along with Sim's plan to destroy the Doctor or whatever, she decides it's not worth it and saves the Doctor by killing Sim, causing Sim to regenerate into her in the first place. Wobbly timey-wimey.
Yeah.
The newly regenerated Missy runs off with some stray Cyberman and starts concocting the plan we saw in the S8 finale to try and repay the Doctor. Remember, the cyber army in S8 was her gift to him.
That's true.
It all goes full circle. Any thoughts? Yours, fully endorsed, Lewis Candyman Christian.
Candyman?
That's Candyman with a K, by the way.
Ah!
Oh, I left Candyman out of my favourite movie monsters. He should have been one of the runner-ups.
Oh, it's alright.
He's so good, though.
If one of the ones we voted for says his name a certain amount of times, then he can pop up.
Tony Todd. Tony Todd.
Tony Todd. Tony Todd. Come on, sing it. Tony Todd.
Tony
Hey,
Todd.
Todd.
Oh, yeah, be a minute late. What do you think of that theory?
It's not a bad theory.
I do think we're going to see John Sim regenerate into Michelle Gomez.
Yeah. But you know what would be a wasted opportunity if that was the case? Not having him in the same room as her. If he's going to regenerate into Missy, I want him to do so with Missy in the room. Imagine that. Yeah. Imagine them changing incarnation, looking at their hands and stuff for a second and being like, oh my god, wait a minute. Like, looking back and forth and piecing it together like, hang on.
Wait a minute.
Wait a second.
Wait a minute.
Especially if she keeps it secret from him during the story. If she doesn't let on that she's him.
Yes.
That would be interesting to play.
Yes.
And it'd be nice to see Michelle Gomez acting opposite Michelle Gomez.
Yes.
So, keep your thoughts to yourselves, you dirty perverts.
I do like Michelle Gomez, though.
I do. I don't care much for Missy, but I do care a lot for Michelle Gomez.
I thought she was the best thing in Lie of the Land.
Yeah. It's wasted, though.
Wasted, yes.
Wasted.
I think she was the best thing in it.
I would argue the best thing in it was, the
end.
If you want to get in touch during the week, you can do bigdamcontact@gmail.com, and of course don't forget you can hit us up at BigDamCast on Twitter.
Yes, you can.
Big Damn Channel on the YouTube.
Yes, you can.
And Homing Pigeon if you're nasty.
And don't forget to keep those cheat requests coming in for our weekly segment, The Big Damn Cheat.
I mean, it's not a segment.
This week, in honour of Injustice 2, we're looking back at some DC games of old with Batman Vengeance for the PlayStation 2.
I mean, you just kind of do it.
The hottest Batman game of all time.
But I mean, no, that's arguably...
Here are some cheat codes for Batman Vengeance.
Arkham City was probably the...
Enter the following codes at the main menu to hear a whoosh sound.
No, that's not what anyone...
The cheat menu. Press L2, R2, L2,
I don't think
R2,
people
square twice, circle twice. Note.
GameCubes and PS2s anymore.
Pause during play, select power moves, press X, then press right to reach the cheats menu.
Wait.
For all power moves on 120 achievement points, L1, L1,
I'm
R1,
really need to
R1,
piss,
L2,
man. I'm
R2,
burst
L1,
into
R2. Infinite handcuffs.
I'm just gonna go.
Kinky Batman.
I'm
Square, square, square,
gonna
square.
go.
L2, R2, R2, L2.
Go on.
Infinite bat launchers.
Go on now.
Infinite bat launchers, Chris.